Welcome, everyone, to the Wool Bowl in Roswell, New Mexico. Time for Hobbs Eagle football. First game of the season, 2026, as the Hobbs Eagles get ready to take on the Roswell High Coyotes. Ty Friend here with Monty tonight, and the Hobbs Eagles. Definitely excited to get back out on the field. It's going to be a hot one in the 90s to start this action tonight. And, of course, the Eagles, a team that's stuck in the 6A, two big divisions this year, an A and a B, northern and southern New Mexico. And Roswell, of course, stays in the 5A. They played in the state championship game last year against Artesia. They were leading most of the game. Artesia came back late and won that contest, so the Bulldogs pulled up the victory. Of course, teams that the Eagles play every year, Artesia and Roswell, that will not change. They have them on the schedule like tonight, and then Artesia coming up next week, too. So Hobbs always with a tough schedule, and that's why they like it to prepare. Of course, we remember with the playoffs last year, the Hobbs Eagles getting the semifinals the first time in 40 years, 4 decades. So Coach Ken Stevens has his team on a roll in terms of playoffs, and always likes to start off hard with some of these teams like Roswell and Artesia's. Not playing Lovington this year. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles have to deal with the playoffs and having good strength of schedule, things of that nature. Lovington actually dropped down a division from 5A, the same with Roswell and Artesia, but they went down to 4A, so that puts them down 2 divisions behind the Eagles. That's the reason they were left off the schedule. And that's got a little bit of bad taste in some of the traditionalists' mouth right now, that they want to see that rival game. But only so many non-district games you can put on the schedule. Hobbs playing in a very tough district. They've added 2 teams to that, El Dorado and Volcano Vista, which makes a lot more competition that you can't fill with non-district games. So that's why it was done, and that's where we're at. Roswell, though, is first on the list. And, Monty, I know it's been a while since you've been in high school, but always exciting times this time of year. Bands are practicing all these weeks, and, of course, the football team and out in the hot. And it's kind of hard to get used to this, but this is what it's all about, and you get that adrenaline working.
I am so excited to be here. I loved watching football when I was in high school, so I kind of feel like I'm back there, just 13 years older.
Monty, of course, is our new morning show host with the KZOR Morning Show, so we're happy to have her with us. Also doing a lot of our video work in this game today, so it should be an exciting contest here at the Wool Bowl. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles and the Roswell Coyotes did play last year. Hobbs getting the win at the big Watson Stadium, 37-27. So a pretty tough game, 64 points on the scoreboard. And, of course, Eagles, Junior Medrano, the big man in terms of the offense for the Eagles in that one. He threw for 240 yards in that ball game with 17 of 27. But the big numbers for him, the triple digits in the running game, 18 carries for 223 yards, 12.4 a pop. So that kid is back this year as a starting quarterback. He's a dual threat. He can run the football and throw the football. In fact, Coach Jeff Lynn, the head coach of the Roswell Coyotes, thinks that he could be a starter as running back on any team in the state of New Mexico. So that's how much praise he gets him now. Of course, that's pregame stuff, maybe inflating his ego a little bit there in the media, but still, it's going to be kind of anxious to see what kind of game Medrano will show. He was pretty balanced last year with the offense for the Eagles, 1,811 yards in the air. He completed 56% of his passes, 22 touchdowns on 7 INTs, and had a quarterback rating of 97.4. On top of that, Medrano running the football, as we mentioned, too, 1,475 yards. That was 46% of the Hobbs Eagle offense on the ground last year, so almost half of the numbers from him. He was averaging 122 yards a game on the ground. So he's definitely going to be a factor. Of course, all the video from last year, that's last year's game. So now it's a whole new season, and again, he's going to have to be ready to get around all the people that are going to be coming at him in that backfield. But of course, some good guys coming around the team as well. DeMarcus Hill is back. He is going to be a senior this year, 767 yards, 12 carries, 108 total in that season last year, averaging 7.1 a pop, about 64 yards a game for him, and did have 7 touchdowns. He was third on the team in scoring for the Hobbs Eagles, so definitely great to have him back. A good power runner for the Hobbs Eagles program. Those are the two that you're going to see a lot of in terms of the backfield and the running game for Hobbs. There'll be a few other guys sprinkled in there, but we're going to be looking at those two to start off this ball game. Looks like they're getting ready for the national anthem here at the Wool Bowl. Hobbs versus Roswell to kick off the 2026 season. We will take a 2-minute break and come back live with the pregame show.
How long will you need for break time?
back live to the Wool Bowl, opening game of the 2026 season for your Hobbs Eagles, the black and gold, taking on the red and white squad here in the land of the alien country. As Eagles opening up their season against the 5A, of course, the Roswell Coyotes. Hobbs in the 6A, and a bigger division-type situation this year with two conferences going on there, and the Eagles, of course, still playing in the same district. They did lose Alamogordo out of that district. They moved down to one division, and again, we picked up a couple of teams out of Albuquerque, El Dorado, and Volcano Vista, so that'll be adding a little bit of a complexion look there. We mentioned last year the Eagles defeated Roswell 37-27. Mentioned the athletic prowess of the Junior Medrano in terms of running and throwing the football, and we also saw DeMarcus Hill get some carries as well. On the Roswell side, though, they have graduated their coach's son, the quarterback Luke Lynn. Now, he threw for 180 yards in that game, also rushed himself for 101. So he was a combined 281 in terms of passing and throwing the football. On the ground, averaging 6.7 a game, and had 2 touchdowns in the favor of the Coyotes. But again, he has graduated, so they're going to have a new guy step up for the squad, and we'll see how he's going to progress in this game. Of course, Junior Medrano comes back after tons of experience over the past few years. As Andrew Fuentes, who played JV last year for Roswell, will step into the starting role for the Roswell High Coyotes. So, you know, in terms of getting new guys out there, Amadi, I mean, it's tough because you go through practice, you're playing your own team, and there's, you know, guys don't want to hurt you, so they're not going to hit you 100% hard like you would normally do in a football game. So this kid's going to be tested early, especially when you have coach's son been there for about 3 years as a varsity starting quarterback. You got a lot of big shoes to fill in that situation.
Absolutely. I know there's a lot of pressure on that, but I know that I think that he's going to feel that pressure in a good way, and it's going to result in him having a great game.
If you go back to the series with these two teams, this is the 22nd ball game that they played between the two. Hobbs has a 17-4 record since 2004, so a major predominance in their victory column. Eagles have averaged 38.5 points a game against Roswell. The Coyotes at 21.1, so about 17-point difference on the average. The only 4 years that Roswell won was 2016, 19, 23, and 24. So those are the W's that they picked up. Closest game a year before last, back in 2024. If you remember, that one was right here at the Wool Bowl. Roswell pulled that out in the Kansas City overtime, 37-35. That was a game with some critical turnovers and some fumbles, etc. A couple calls were a little bit iffy there, but a 2-point win for Roswell. So that's the closest game. But the Eagles have had pretty much dominance in this one. The most points that they scored against Roswell was back in 2012. Hobbs put up 52 points on the scoreboard. And the most combined points between the two teams was 84 total back in 2013. Hobbs winning that one 49-35, a 14-point victory in that one. So just give you kind of a taste of what was going on with those two teams in terms of this 22nd game that they're playing between the two since 2004. Again, Hobbs with that 17-4 record against the Coyotes from the 5A division. Of course, Jeff Lynn, a very well-known coach. He has 3 state championships here in Roswell. He definitely knows what he's doing when it comes to coaching a team, and they had 8 championships here in Roswell without, or 8 total, 5 of those without Coach Lynn, but he's got the job done. Should have had another one under his belt this past year, but of course we mentioned Artesia came back to win that ball game, but they have been in the state championship game the last 3 seasons, winning 1 out of 3. Artesia got the other 2, but of course Artesia has the most championships of any team in the state of New Mexico. Well, there's some big shoes to fill for both squads in this game. The Roswell High Coyotes had 33 graduates from last year. They have 17 seniors on the roster this year. Luis Rodriguez was a sophomore last year. He'll be back seeing some running back action. He had 940 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns to his name, but he was just a sophomore. Remember that. He was small but slippery is how his coach Lynn talks about him. We mentioned Andrew Fuentes was a starter back in 9th and JV. His brother was a starting quarterback several years back as well, so he had some experience. He did work 3 varsity games last year, threw for 133 yards on 8 completions. On defense, one big name comes back from Roswell, All-State linebacker Jonathan Ellis. He was the leading tackler on the Roswell Coyotes. Of course, the Hobbs Eagles getting the semifinals for the first time in 40 years last year. They lost to Cleveland 67-16 after beating Carlsbad 30-19. So they definitely were excited about that. Coach Stevens has been on a roll getting into the playoffs over the last few years. Definitely has his team well balanced on the offense in terms of running and passing the football. Coach in his 8th season. He does have 20 graduates to deal with from last year. And so he's trying to get people back in some spots where they're going to be familiar with and happy with. 4 offensive starters returned, 4 on the defensive side. and a whole new wide receiver core. We got guys, Braden Dunlap being one of those, Zaylen Sanders and Conlon McCool. Dunlap and Sanders are sophomores, and McCool is a junior, also plays quarterback. He was a backup last year. So no seniors really going to get a lot of time, at least in the early part of the season, in terms of time on the field. So that will kind of give you an idea what the big change-up is for this year. One big defender coming back everybody knows about. Gavin is definitely one of the best linebackers in the state, Mr. McPherson there. Third year on the varsity. He likes to penetrate. He was a big-time tackler, although he was injured a few games and didn't play last year. 110 tackles to his name. He'll lead the linebacking core. Now, a few guys, youngsters from last year, did get some playing time. There's a lot of injuries Hobbs had to deal with in season last year, even though all the way going to the semifinals. Caleb Blackman saw some time at linebacker, and Davian Villegas. So it's nice to see them back with some little bit of experience from last year. And hopefully they'll step up in some good roles in this one. So just a couple of name drops there as we get ready for the kickoff. Always a kind of a rush pregame for the first game of the season to try to talk about some other people we'll try to get in here as we get this game going. And boy, Monty, it's a pretty hot one out here in Roswell, isn't it?
It's definitely a toasty one. I'm thankful that there is some cloud coverage to help us, especially up in this press booth.
As the Hobbs Eagles get ready for this one, they will be the receiving team. Of course, last year finished up 9-3 and had some tough teams to deal with, including Las Cruces High that went to the state championship game in the 6A, of course. Also playing Artesia, won the 5A championship, played Cleveland. They were in the state championship game last year against Las Cruces. So definitely the last few years, Coach Stevens has not shirked at playing the tough teams. Roswell wearing the red uniforms and the white numbers. Hobbs in the whites, black numbers, gold trim, black helmets. As we get ready to go here, they actually got both Roswell and Goddard's names in the end zones, red on one end and blue on the other. Kind of surprised they don't keep the predominant color for the home team in the home games. Here's the kickoff. It's going to be an end-over-end short one. It'll drop at the 36, picked up by the Eagles and slaughtered hard. Ball comes loose at the 34-yard line. And we got a big pile up, and turnovers was an issue last year. Hobbs had 4. And there's a lot of pummeling going on there. The ball was recovered by the Eagles, I believe, on that far right sideline in front of the grandstands for the home team. I think it went off the hands originally. It was a hard hit, as coming up with it was Jacob Garcia for the Eagles return team. So Hobbs dodging a bullet there to get it going here in Roswell. Just underway, first game of the season. Hobbs with 2 state championships to their name. Going back a few years to the 70s, though. Talk a little bit about that as the game progresses. Hobbs with trips left, 1 receiver to the right side in front of the Roswell grandstands. And back for the shotgun for the Eagles. We mentioned the big name earlier in the pregame show, Junior Medrano. See what he's going to be doing for Hobbs. He has a single setback, his heel on his right shoulder. Shotgun fakes the handoff, quarterback keeper, up the middle, 40, 45, 50, 45, Roswell's 40, 35, 30, and he's going to go down a little bit further past the 30-yard line for a big pickup. Starting at the 32. It's going to be 43 yards. Let's see where they're going to spot this. Yes, 43. Way to start for Medrano on that right side gap. Went up the gut, stayed in the middle of the field, and has the first down for the Eagles. That'll be at the 25-yard line. Hobbs and Twins right, receiver left, shotgun again to Medrano back at the 30. 4-man front for Roswell, a little gap in the middle. Hobbs getting ready for the snap on the shotgun. Stepping up is Medrano, and then backs up to the 30 once again. He has trips right now with the receiving core. He's going to pitch to the right side of Hill, gets hit by a wall, breaks the tackle, 25, continues to plow forward and down at the right hash as he'll get a few more on that one. Nice body extension for him. So Hill's going to get 3. And that's going to make it 2.5. They might move it up just a bit. So we'll go with 2 on that one for Hill. Second down and 8 for the Eagles as the ball will be at the 22.5-yard line. Early here in the first quarter, a hot one in Roswell. Underneath 11 minutes remaining, still scoreless. Twins right and left in the receivers. Shotgun coming to Medrano. Stays at the right hash and tucks the football. Goes up hard, hits helmet to helmet with the defender and goes down at the 19. So he's going to pick up a few more. Looks like 4. And not scared whatsoever to put his helmet down and go up head-to-head, as we mentioned. It looked like Diego Villa, the defensive back, came up that time. So 4 for Medrano, 2 carries for 47 yards, almost half the field already. just in the first series of the ball game. 3rd down and 3 for the Eagles at the Roswell, 13 and a half. Twins left and right. Shotgun, Medrano, option left with the pitch out to Hill around the left end. 20, does a spin at the left hash mark and falls forward. I think he's going to be very close to the first down. Needed about 3, and it looks like he's going to be short by 1. So a 2-yard pickup for Hill. Little option pitch to the left side. 2 carries for 4 yards. It'd be nice, Almaty, if Hobbs Eagles get in the scoreboard first here on the road.
Absolutely. That's a great way to start this first game of the season for the Hobbs Eagles. We are so close, so keep going, boys.
Hobbs facing a 4th and short now. They're at the 15 of the Coyotes on the left hash. Medrano in shotgun with Twins left and right. Comes up underneath the traditional snap, trying to get the plow forward, moving the pile, and he looks like he'll get it. One of the officials, though, back at the 15, I think that might just be barely past the first down marker. We're going to go ahead and give him 2 with the forward progress. So Medrano gets the second first down for the Eagles. 3 carries for 49 yards, 1 shy of the 50 mark here already for Medrano. Remember, he was over 200 yards last year against this Roswell defense. First down for the Eagles. Have it at the 14-yard line. Back to shot he goes. Trips left, receiver right. Clapping his hands, and boy, the defender is coming hard. 3 of them might have been offsides for Roswell. Eagles line standing taut there, not moving an inch. That's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Coyotes. Moves it even closer for Hobbs inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. Eagles looking back to the sideline to get the play call from Coach Stevens. Again, in his 8th season. Had a couple of state championships in Eunice before coming to the Hobbs Eagle program. And, of course, he's been in the last 4 years of playoffs for Hobbs, including the semifinals last year. Eagles taking their time now. Twins left and right. Clock to 9:08 left first quarter. Knocking on the door here. They can get a first down at the 2. They hand up around the right end, cutting to the far sideline. 10-5, and backpedals out of bounds. And new one getting the ball that time was Jacob Garcia going to the right end. So he started about the 11-yard line. And he's going to finish up, looks like, inside the 5. Depends on where they're marking it. There might have been a penalty as they're kind of delaying here. I don't see any flags on the carpet. They're going to go ahead. It looks like they're going to give him a first down on that one. So they're going to give it to the 5-yard line. So he's extended that for 8. 8-yard pickup for the Eagles, and Garcia getting his first carry of the game. Ball's at the 4, shotgun, back to Pastor Medrano, floats it down the right corner of the end zone, high in the air. It's volleyballed up and dropped, unfortunately, near the back pylon on the right side. I believe that might have been Braden Dunlap out there. Dunlap is a sophomore, also can play some QB, incomplete. First pass thrown for Medrano in this one. And Roswell's kind of hanging with them at this point, but Eagles came with some big runs, now trying to throw the ball a little bit, Marty.
Yeah, absolutely. They're on the 3rd down with only 4 to go. Come on, guys, you're so close. They've done so good, and that throw was really good, just so close to catching it.
At the 4-yard line, shotgun Medrano with the delay handoff around the left end. Around the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown! First score of the season for the Hobbs Eagles in 2026. So Hobbs gets on the board first. And that's going to be a 4-yard score for the Eagles into the end zone for the black and gold. That's Jesse Nelson. He did see some time at running back last year. Kind of wondered if he was going to get some O time. He does play some secondary. But a 4-yard pickup for Nelson and the touchdown. Said, Coach, I can set out a few plays. Give me the ball, and I'm going to score for you. Hobbs didn't get enough guys on the PAT team, and boy, a couple of coaches losing their cool on that one. Is finally getting in the sprint to get in the game was DeMarcus Hill, the running back. As we await the PAT for the Eagles to tack on to their 6 points, Brandon Amonza, also receiver for Hobbs. Nice tall kid. Kick is up, and the kick is inside the left upright for the score. So your Hobbs Eagles marching down the field, go 70 yards after a big run for Medrano, and finishing it off with a tough run around the left end for the Eagles score. We will be back in 30 seconds. Hobbs up 7-0 here in Roswell. Back live here in Roswell. Eagles on their first drive already into the end zone. 7 points on the board. Medrano had 3 carries for 49 yards. Nelson scoring the touchdown run around the left end for 4. Also getting a run for the Eagles was Jacob Garcia for 8, and Hill 2 carries for 4 yards. So Eagles definitely getting up big in this one. Have a total of 65 yards on the ground on 7 carries. 7-0 your score as Hobbs getting ready to kick it off for the first time in the ball game after a nice touchdown. Kick from the 40, nice, good one, long one, end over end. It's going to get ricocheted and muffed into the end zone. That's an automatic touchback. Now in NCAA college, that could be returned. But trying to get up high to get a hand on it up the ladder that time. Daniel Guevara in the deep right corner. Also back there, kind of playing a little volleyball with each other that time for the red and white. Was in that zone as well was Darice Ashung. And both of them were about halfway into the end zone, so it didn't matter anyway. Once it crosses that goal line, it's an automatic touchback, even if you do muff it. Now, you get the catch inside the goal line and fumble it back there. It's a whole different story. Roswell football, 1st and 10, automatic touchback to the 20. Fuentes, the quarterback, first year as a starter for the varsity. Did play JV last year after Lynn was graduated from the squad. Eagles will sit with 5 on the front line. Shotgun, a flip around the left end, heading far left to the sideline. Isaac Gonzalez also plays some receiver, runs to the sideline in front of the red bench where there's a flag near the backfield. Did get out to about the 26, would be a 6-yard gain, but I think we got something down behind the line of scrimmage. It looked like maybe one of the umpire possibly was calling a low block. Let's see if we got the signal right from this far out. Yep, got it right. He was chopping his knees off there that time, Monty.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, Roswell is finally getting some momentum, so we'll see what they can do. Hopefully the Eagles can keep them and hold them so we can stay 7 points ahead of them.
I believe that was a chop block call there, high-low block on the line, which would be normally a 15-yard penalty, but they were inside the 30, which means it would be half the distance, so back to the 10. So that's the penalty charge to Roswell. So they've had 2 penalties now for 15 yards so far. Of course, Eagles up 7-0 here. Jesse Nelson scoring first. 8:22 left in the first. Trips right, receivers to the left at the 10-yard line. First down at 20. Quick screen to the left side. Caught at the 10, extending out 15, 20, and down to the 25. They look like he tiptoed out at the 24. So that's going to get some of that yard back on the penalty before that. 14-yard pickup on a little quick pass to the left screen area. As coming up with the catch was Luis Rodriguez for 14 before he stepped out of bounds. 2nd down for the 25, screen right, Rodriguez again, catch at the 20, near side up the right hash, 25, 30, up the middle, trying to drag some people with him, gets a few more. That'll be 7 for Rodriguez, so back-to-back catches for him. That's 21 on 2 catches. Roswell perfect 2 for 2 in the passing department for Fuentes. Ball now at the 32-yard line. Clock down to 7:55 remaining first quarter. Eagles up 7-0. Ball at the 32. Hobbs taking a little bit of time to get their line stretched out here. Roswell up to the line of scrimmage. Look like they got a double slot look now for the Coyotes. Taking some time on the cadence call. Flick around the left end again. In the hands of Isaac Gonzalez. Heads out far left, 35. Brought down to the 36. Eagles get a good angle to make sure he stayed near the sideline, not trying to cut up. So Gonzalez going to get 2. And he was met hard on the Roswell side, far left. Wrapping him up hard was Davian Villegas, one of the guys that had some time last year coming in off some injured players, a linebacker. Senior, 5'9", 175. So it looks like a 4-yard pickup. That was Gonzalez. Taking a lot of time in the huddle now. Brings up a 2nd down and 6 from the 36-yard line. Twins right, receiver left, shotgun. Back to pass Fuentes. The quick fire to the far sideline over the shoulder. Caught at the 45 into first down territory. That's going to be 16 yards on the far left. That's going to move the chains as well. Wait to see who that is on that far side. Danny Castro comes up with the catch. So 16 for him. Roswell perfect 3 for 3 for 37 yards in the air into Hobbs territory at the 49. Get the first down on that one. They're first of the game now in Eagles territory on the left hash. Twins right, receiver left. Back to shotgun is Fuentes. Fakes the handoff. Now late, he hands it in front of him. It falls through the running back's hands at the line of scrimmage. The fumble is there, and the Eagles have recovered. And taking care of business to scoop up the football on the line for Hobbs was Hollis Luck, the defensive lineman. He just got down on his knee and got his body over the ball. Fumble away for the first turnover of the ball game. Not the thing Roswell wanted, as they are down by 7 off the fumble. And great job for the recovery for Hollis Luck to get the Eagles the ball back near the half of the field. Would be nice to add some points on here to add some insult to injury to these Roswell Coyotes.
Yeah, absolutely. They were doing such a good job getting into the Hobbs territory, but man, that fumble did a number for them. But maybe they can get it back. Maybe they can get it back.
Yeah, it looked like he was just going to keep the football, Fuentes. Then he tried to push it in his running back's hands ahead. Shotgun to Medrano back at the 44. Dumps it in the right flat. Caught at the 40. Right up to the 40-yard line and dropped for a 10-yard pickup. Looks like just enough for the first down for the Eagles. Good hands by Zaylen Sanders, one of the sophomores to be in that starting role this season. So he gets exactly 10. So Sanders taking care of business. 1 for 2 now in the passing game. Third first down for Hobbs. Eagles will take their time looking back to the sideline here on the near left. Hobbs in the white uniforms, black numbers. Roswell wearing their home reds tonight. Twins left, two receivers right as well. Medrano back with his running back, Hill. Puts him in motion. Medrano with the keeper. Little juke step to the right to the 40. Gets ahead of the 35 and plunges forward. And again, he's going to be close to a first down. Kind of a wait and go on that one to see what the defense is going to do. And unfortunately, his helmet comes off. That means he might have to sit a play unless it was ripped off by somebody. Going to be short by about a yard. So Medrano will have to exit after picking up 9. Brings up a 2nd down and 1. Boy, I'm going to see who they're going to have to insert here. I know last year they had the backup quarterback that they did give some playing time to, Colin McCool. He was just a sophomore last year. We'll see if he's the guy that comes in. No, actually, it's going to be Braden Dunlap. So Dunlap, who's also a wide receiver in this game. He is a quarterback too, but just a sophomore. Twins left, receiver right. Dunlap back to the 40 for probably 1 play. 2-step drop. Fires into the left screen. Caught at the 35 and upended quickly. Nice jump in the air to pull that one down for Hobbs. That was DeMarcus Hill. And Hill's going to get 5 on that one. I bring up a 2nd down and 5 now from the Roswell 35 on the left hash. Clock to 4:48 remaining first quarter. Eagles up 7-0. Nelson scoring the first score of the game, 4-yard run on their first drive. Trips right, receiver left, 3rd down and 5 from the 35. They pull out of the play call. Might be a delay of game as flags are flying here. Nope, we got procedure. Somebody's moving. And Coach Stevens shaking his head. He knew there was a problem out there with communication. It'll be a 5-yard penalty, first of the game for Hobbs. There's been 2 so far for Roswell, 15 yards total. So now we're back to live action at the 40-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down and 10 after that catch by Hill. Eagles take their time to get at the line of scrimmage. Trips right, receiver left from the 40. 3rd and 10. Shotgun back. Fake the pass left, throw it right side, coming to get the ball near the right side of the field hash and getting swiped underneath and dropped in the backfield. It ended up being a -5 on that one. Coming back to make the catch in the backfield was Braden Dunlap, who played quarterback for 1 play, but unfortunately for Dunlap, ends up a -5, even though he did make the catch and just got swiped. Hobbs quickly up, though, at the 4th and 5, trying to get Roswell off-settled here. Now they're going to pull back out of the play and look to the sideline. 4th and 15 make that. They got to get to the 30 of Roswell, currently at the 45 of the Coyotes. Shotgun, now they're going to punt it. Almost blocked. Medrano gets rid of it, end over end. They'll catch it at the 15 around the left hash and getting strung down hard off the catch. That was Isaac Gonzalez, the wide receiver. And boy, got rodeoed by the hips that time by Robert Garcia. Great coverage for him out there. Quick feet to get down there to DB, senior for the Eagles. So the first punt of the ball game for Hobbs, but they still have the 7-0 lead here in the first quarter with 3:42 remaining. And now the Hobbs Eagle defense will be setting up, Monty.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I feel like them getting tackled right and doing the 3 and 15, that was 4 and 15, 3 and 15. It was rough, but I know they're going to make a nice comeback. Now that Roswell has the ball, we'll see what they do with it.
Twins right, receiver left for Fuentes, the quarterback. Second drive of the ball game here for Roswell. They got a slot left as well. Eagles got 4 on the front line with the gap up the middle. Back to pass, Fuentes, 3-step drop, rolls right, tries to cut back left, keeps driving it to the 10, stops and throws at the long out route, caught at the 35 and 40. Depends on where they're going to mark this at. From the 25 down to the 40, a 15-yarder on that far left sideline as he gets a big hookup to his receiver, Isaac Gonzalez. See where they're going to mark that at. A little bit shy, looks like a 15, 13-yard pickup. Again, coming up with the catch for the Coyotes for the first down. They're perfect, 4 for 4 in the passing game. Back to a shotgun snap for Fuentes, back of the 32. Gives a handoff up the middle, up the gut to the 40 through the B gap and out close to the 45-yard line. About 7, maybe 6 yards, depending on where the knee went down. Quick handoff that time. As the ball carrier for, looks like 7, that's Luis Rodriguez. I believe that's his first carry of the ball game. And Coach Lynn thinks he's the best running back in the state of New Mexico, no matter what the division is. Of course, Roswell plays in the 5A, but he's going to have to match up with DeMarcus Hill for the Eagles, and, of course, the quarterback, Junior Medrano, the QB. Second down and 3 now from the 44 of the Coyotes, who trail 7-0 from the left hash. 2:39 left first quarter. Eagles up by 7. Slots left and right. Pitch to the right side around the 40, up to 45. The middle to the 50, and a first down pickup. Be about 7 yards. A nice dive at the end there for Rodriguez to get the first, as he's put down on the turf for the Eagles defense by Jesse Nelson, who plays both sides of the football. Second first down of the game for Roswell. Hurry up offense now in the middle of the field to 49 of the Eagles. Don't want the Eagles to have a chance to get set up here. Twins right, receiver left for the receiver core. Shotgun coming to Fuentes. Hard snap count, then pulls out of it. Going to take his time now. Slot left. Low snap, 3-step drop, stays in pocket, throws it down at the post, caught at the 25, Eagles defender fell down to spin, 20, 15, 10, 5, and a touchdown. 49-yard pass play after the defender slipped down at the 15, and that will be a touchdown. And the catch made in traffic, Danny Castro for 49 yards. He's got 2 catches now for 55 or 65 total, and that's a touchdown for him there. And 1 point away from tying up this one. And just sometimes that's going to happen. You slip on the turf, and unfortunately the quick hands there by the receiver to pull it down deep on that left hash at the 20, and then rambles into the end zone. As we await the PAT, Roswell getting a late guy out there. And talk about a big kid that they get out. He had to run full speed just to make it in time. Art Garcia, defensive tackle, got to be close to 300 pounds. Waiting for the PAT kick. It's up, and it is good for Roswell. Is converting on it, Benjamin Vera. We got a new ball game here in Roswell, tied at 7. Guess you could call it the 2-minute warning in the first quarter. We're right at 2 minutes. We'll take a 30-second break, come back with more Hobbs Eagle football on No More Broadcasting's opening night here in the Alien City. We're back live in Roswell as the Coyotes just tie up the score on a 49-yard pass play. Converted from the quarterback Fuentes all the way down the field and connecting with Danny Castro. So both teams have scored here in this first quarter with 2 minutes remaining. Roswell getting ready to kick off from their 40-yard line. As doing the chore, the man that just kicked the PAT, Ben Vera, the junior. Hobbs has 5 across the 50-yard line. They're going to keep it high, but an end over end short to the 35. Caught on the run, bouncing into his own man for the Eagles. And try to get to the 40, not going to make it. Big scrum pile there. Nice catch in traffic there for the Eagles on the return. That was Davian Villegas. So the linebacker, I believe that's the number that I was seeing out there. It looked like 33. Maybe that was 22 instead. Pretty close on those numbers in my old age. Try Caden Ruiz possibly instead of the 33. I kind of was wondering why the linebacker being the good hands crew, but maybe that is the case. Ball is going to be at the 39. Pretty decent field position for the Eagles, trying to break this 7-7 tie with 1:53 left in the first quarter. Boy, the umpire was on the wrong side of the football for a second. They had to stop action. Screen pass left side, caught at the 30. Coming up the near sideline, Sanders, the sophomore, to the 50, into Roswell territory, and the first down knocked out of bounds. He's going to get 14 on that one. Dump pass out to the left flat for Sanders. So 14 yards for him. Oh, they got the holding penalty, though. Late flag on that one. Coach Jett, the line coach, not a happy camper after that. Hobbs 2 for 3 in the passing game. Or actually make that 3 for 4. There a couple of pass completions on 3 attempts. One of them was in the backfield, though, for -5, and they'll bring it back for 10 yards on the holding penalty. Second penalty of the game for the Eagles for 15 total, the same amount for Roswell, so even in that category, an even scoreboard. Back at the 31 now on the right hash in their negative side of the field. 1:44 left in the first, 7-7 to score on the right hash for the Eagles. Trips left. Looks like one receiver going to the Roswell side far right from the 30. Back to shotgun. Goes Medrano. Fakes a handoff, takes it up the gut. Quarterback keeper, and he's drugged down. Might have got back to the line if he's lucky. Forward progress might have got him there for no gain on the play. But, boy, a whole host of guys in there to shut down the open hole for just a second. A couple of guys charging through to make the stop. Anthony Gamas, the linebacker there first. Looks like no gain on the play. Ooh, we got a penalty marker. Umpire starting to mark it off. Didn't talk to his Whitecap, and Whitecap saying, hold it, slow it down, you're going the wrong way. He was marking off against Hobbs. And wait to see. I think it might have been an inadvertent face mask on that one, so it's a 5-yard penalty regardless. Third penalty of the game for Roswell to make it 20 yards and moves it up to the 37. Hobbs facing that's a first down. So that'll be a first down pickup for the Eagles. 4 first downs in the game at the 37. Twins right, receivers left, 2 left side, man in motion right to left, back to pass, 2-step drop. Medrano fires it on the post. Ball's tipped and intercepted at the 50 and brought down quickly was Jonathan Ellis. Linebacker made the pick, but the ball was tipped by a Hobbs Eagle receiver, so we are trading turnovers in this game. First one for the Eagles, an INT. Earlier, Roswell fumbled in this first quarter, and boy, this is a seesaw affair, Monty.
I'm getting a little bit of a whiplash from it. Yeah, the back and forth. There's only a minute and 12 seconds left to go, so that was not a great time for them to have that turnover.
And we saw that a few years ago, 2 years to be exact, where we had that overtime game. There's some critical turnovers in that contest, although last year the Eagles winning by 10 at Watson Stadium. So Roswell gets the ball back after an INT. They'll have it at their Hobbs Eagle 47-yard line. Waiting for shotgun Fuentes, Twins left, receiver right. Flips it up the middle with a pitch, coming back to the near side now, 45, 40, 35, and strung down at the 33-yard line. Be a 17-yard pickup. As getting the carry for Roswell, Danny Castro. So 17 yards for Castro. That'll move the chains again for Roswell. Let's see how much time we got here. 1:03 remaining. Here in this first quarter, we're tied at 7. As they have it now at the Eagle 32-yard line in Hobbs territory, near the Hobbs Eagle sideline near right. Castro, or make that Fuentes in the backfield. Delay handoff, cut left, now back up the middle to the A-gap, and kind of somersault in the head for a couple extra yards was Luis Rodriguez. Let's see if they count part of that somersault or not there. Looks like about a 5-yard pickup for Rodriguez, 3 carries for 17 yards. Clock down to 45. They do have to run another play at least. Taking some time in the huddle now with a 2nd down and 5 from the Eagles' 26-yard line on the right hash. 7-7 your score. Roswell sends 2 receivers left and 3 to the right side, short trips in front of the Hobbs bench. Eagles with 4 in the front, middle gap. Man in motion right to left for Roswell's Gonzalez. They'll flick it to him around the left end, 30. Heads outside, 25, 20, to the sideline, 15, 10, 5, into the end zone. Don't want to let him go around those ends. And that will be a 25-yard score for Rodriguez. His first touchdown. They pass for 1 for 49, and now they've run for 25, so taking the lead 13-7 and waiting the PAT for Roswell, taking advantage of a Hobbs Eagle interception near midfield. and put 6 on the board as we await that kick for Ben Vera. Clock still has 14.8 left here in the first. Long delay on the snap for the Coyotes on the PAT. Good one, though. Kick is up, and it is good. Good leg here for Vera. And now a 7-point lead for the Coyotes. 14-7 over the Hobbs Eagles here on the road in Alien Land. We will be back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Go. 14-7 your score. The Roswell Coyotes with the lead after a 25-yard touchdown run for Rodriguez. Hobbs opened up the scoring with Jesse Nelson in the first quarter. Roswell returned with a Castro pass, 49 from Fuentes, and then Rodriguez just scoring. Clock down to 14.8 left here in the first, and a 14-7 ball game. As we get ready for another kickoff for Roswell to do the chore for the Coyotes will be Ben Vera. The Eagles definitely like to punch some points in here, even before the end of this first quarter, just to get the momentum back. They had it early in this game as marching down the field, some great runs, especially by Medrano. End over end, short kick is going to bounce to the 34, scooped up by the Eagles, bouncing into traffic, get knocked around and thrown down ahead for about 2 yards after the catch. So Hobbs is in pretty decent field position, pretty close to where they had it on the last drive, but it did get messed up with an INT. The return man that time about 2 yards. He was aided by the throw forward there, DeMarcus Hill. Hobbs football. Going to mark it back a little bit further, I guess. That to the, looks like 33 now. Hobbs ball on the right hash. Eagles break their sideline huddle and head out to the line of scrimmage. That took about 4 seconds off the clock, down to 10.2 here in the first. Don't have to push it to score here. They got a whole quarter before the half. Twins right and left. Shotgun coming for Junior Medrano. Has a man in motion. Fake the handoff to him. Give it the tailback. Hill's going to plow in the angle right towards the 35-yard line. Goes down, maybe got right on top of it there. Just a couple on the play as he uses his body to flop it forward and gets 2, and that will end the first quarter of action. So 3 carries for 6 yards for Hill. The leader, though, on the running game for Hobbs. Total for the Eagles of 58 is Medrano on 4 carries. But Roswell leads this one at the end of one, 14-7. We'll come back in 60 seconds live on the radio, Cool 95.7. On the internet, HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. And don't forget about that Cool 95.7 app on the cell phone. Back to live action, second quarter. Eagles 2nd and 8 from the 35. Dump pass to the near sideline. Gets past the receiver intended for Braden Dunlap. Incomplete. Eagles now 3 of 6 in the passing game for 50% for a total of 10 yards. Brings up a 3rd down and 8. So Hobbs trying to get back over the hump. They were up early 7-0, but 2 unanswered touchdowns for Roswell as they lead here early in the second, 14-7. Just underway at the 30-yard line, 3rd down and 8. Shotgun Medrano, 2-step drop. He's going to be flushed out right. Tucks and goes. 35 sideline, 40, 45. Tiptoes out of bounds at the 50 for the first down. Going to get 15 total, and a great vision on the sideline from the Hobbs Eagle bench on the right to get that first down. That's his second biggest run of the ball game. He had a 43-yard to start, almost half the field. 5 first downs for Hobbs. And now with 73 yards on the ground is Medrano. He's over 200 last year against his Roswell Coyote team, and he's kind of a spark out there, Monty.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been incredibly impressed with him and how well he's doing and handling the pressure of this first game of the season. So he's doing a great job.
First and 10 from the 49. They were starting to get a man in motion on the right. Now we got a bunch of guys going in motion. There's going to be some flags. They held off for a second on the first flag. We saw a stutter step in the backfield going right to left for Zaylen Sanders, a sophomore. He kind of stopped and looked to the far side. Then they brought another man in motion from the left, and the ref said, we're not going to wait any longer. The handkerchief is coming down. Coach Stevens wants a timeout. He knows the heads aren't where they need to be. And, of course, we've had a lot of great sponsors stepping up for Hobbs Eagle football this year. And as we get ready for a season, whoop, they're back out on the field. Looked like they called a timeout. I guess Coach waved it off. Sorry about that, Monty. He was going to get you to get our sponsors there. We'll get that in a minute. First and 10 from the 46, right hash. Man in motion, back to pass. Here goes a pump fake. A throw down the near sideline, high in the air. Catch me at the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Eagles. That's going to be a 54-yard pass play. Breaking down the sideline, wait for the football for the Hobbs Eagles. Braden Dunlap in the right corner. So big-time pickup and a score, 54 yards for Dunlap. He's in the positives now at a -5 catch in the backfield earlier, but he made up for that one, and a great way to get the second quarter going, Monty.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great run and a great throw. It's nice to see our Eagles tying up the score. They're about to do their punt, and let's see what they do with it.
This could tie it up at 14 with 11:40 left here in the second. Snap good, kick is up, and it is good. Gets it inside that left upright to convert for the Eagles. So Hobbs has tied it up after the footwork there for Hobbs. Brandon Almanza. And we got another new ball game here. Sun is going behind the clouds. We got the lights on at the stadium. Hopefully it'll cool off about 20 degrees real quick like as it's burning this up here. 11:40 remaining second quarter. We're tied at 14 in Roswell. Go. 14-14 your score here in Roswell. Opening game of the 2026 season. 6A versus 5A. See this game every year. Last bunch of games that they played, 22. Hobbs with a 17-4 record in the 21 played by before this one. So Hobbs with 13 more wins in Roswell, but we are tied now. Get ready for the kickoff. Here it comes from the 40. Booming kick. End over end. Goes back to the 9. It's caught on the right hash. Accelerating to the 20. 25, and brought down at the 29-yard line. The return man for Roswell for the Coyotes was Daniel Guevara, the wide receiver. Again, they're getting a little dark on the field now. The lights are on, but they're not completely getting the brilliance we want to see on that field turf, so kind of hard to read at this point, but we're ready to go as Roswell have it on their right hash 30-yard line. 14-14 the score. Of course, Eagles will be at home against Artesia next week. Artesia playing Carlsbad tonight, one of our district foes. Of course, Artesia's #1 championship team from last year in the 5A beat this Roswell squad come from behind victory in that game, 25-24. Roswell's played in the championship 3 years in a row in the 5A and won one of those against the Bulldogs. Twins left, receiver right, shotgun to Fuentes. He'll just stand back, a late handoff on the draw up the middle, 30, 35, scampered up the middle, 40, and continue to move a pile down to the 44-yard line. Gonna be 17 yards on that one. That's Rodriguez again, so 17 for him. That's going to be 5 rushes for him for 59 yards, and that'll be the third first down for the Coyotes. First and 10 from the 44, middle of the field for Roswell, still on their side of the mid-stripe. 4 receivers right, 1 left. By himself is Fuentes. 2-step drops, tucks it, goes. Left side, 45, stretch out to the sideline, 50, 45. Tiptoes out of bounds for another first down. That was going to be for 13 yards for the quarterback. His first carry on the keeper to the near left in front of the Hobbs bench. That's first down number 4 for Roswell. They're knocking at the door again. This might be going back and forth the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's absolutely what it looks like. It's a really give and take, but, you know, being tied at 14-14 with 11 minutes left in this second quarter, it's going to be a good game, that's for sure.
Favor there. Eagles football at the 9-yard line as we get ready for another series. Eagles coming from the sideline with all 11 onto the field now. They'll put 2 receivers right, 1 to the left, split backfield, a man on each shoulder of the quarterback, Mr. Medrano. Fakes the handoff, comes around the left end to the 10, hurdles 1 man, gets to the 15. And he's going to pick up about 7 on that and make it 8 for the quarterback. As Medrano now is the predominant rusher as we expected. 81 yards on the ground so far, including a 43-yarder in the first quarter. We're going to drop it back, looks like maybe 2 yards on that and make it 6 instead of 8. Hobbs taking some time now. Ball at the just shy of the 15-yard line on the left hash, just by the point of the football. 9:25 left here in the second, 14-14. Single receiver left, 2 to the right side. Shotgun again. Delay handoff. Cross pad left to right, up the middle. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. He's going to beat 3 guys to the hole and the end zone. Going all the way, and that's going to go from the 15 in for the touchdown. 85 yards for the Hobbs Eagles. Big-time score. And getting the touchdown for Hobbs, that was Jesse Nelson, I believe. That's a 6 and then the second digit. Yes, it is. Waiting to see if that was Hill or Nelson. It was Nelson. Coach, you put me in. I'm getting a touchdown. Second time in the game. That one for 85. That kid's got 2 scores now, a 4-yarder and an 85-yarder. Of course, also plays defense, so going both ways. There'll be several guys that will do that in this first game of the season, and Coach Stevens likes what he sees. Good breakaway speed for Nelson. 9:07 left here in the second. Waiting for the kick now to add another point. We had a man down, I believe, as they're plotting here. Yes, it was looks like a lineman for Roswell. It looked like 66. I hate to guess on that, but Benito Cedillo Garcia, defensive tackle for Roswell. So 85 yards is what we had, and that's what we're going to stick with on that one. Thank you, Mr. Jason Farmer, as you say thumbs up on that exact number. Not a math major, though, I promise you that. There's a whistle and a flag on the snap for the PAT. I don't see the flag down there, but there was a whistle. Maybe, yep, they're going to move it forward a little bit, half the distance. I don't see a flag, though. Maybe they didn't have the ball set the way they wanted it. I don't see any. Oh, no, it was offside. They're going to decline. Hobbs doesn't want to get any closer for the kick. Getting closer doesn't really help a kicker. It changes their toe a little bit. You have to scoop more than fire through because you got a chance to get blocked as well. So he's just going to keep it back at the 10 for the hold there. Get ready for that extra point here in Roswell. Oh, it's a bouncer picked up, and it's going to be a rollout, a bad snap. They're going to throw it in the end zone back, and it's going to be intercepted by Roswell. So picked off in the left corner of the end zone, and the throw coming from the kicker off a bad snap. That's Brandon Almanza, but wasn't on purpose. That ball just kind of did a roll right through the kicking zone there. He was smart enough to pick it up. Got some good size, though, does Almanza. Kind of tossed it in the middle of the end zone on the right side, and unfortunately it was picked off. So no good on the PAT. Hobbs still up by 6, though, after scoring. 9:07 remaining second quarter. Eagles 20, Roswell 14, back in 60. Almanza kicks it deep near the goal line, right side of the end zone. They're going to say the return man touched with his back foot. He was coming out with it. I'm not sure if the ball crossed that, maybe just the body there as he kind of reached back his foot. But they'll bring it back to the 20 on the automatic touchback for Roswell. Hobbs taking the lead here, 2014. Hobbs up 7-0 in the first quarter after a Nelson run for a touchdown, his first of the ball game. Castro, a 49-yard pass reception from Fuentes for Roswell, tied it up. INT for Roswell on the Hobbs Eagles got Rodriguez in the end zone a few plays later for a 25-yard run. They were up 14-7. Hobbs tied it up with a 54-yard pass to Dunlap, and then the 85-yard run for Nelson gets the lead back to 6, and no conversion on the PAT. Roswell football at their own 20, shotgun to Fuentes. Give it the tailback, just a gut push up the middle, and try to push the pile, and it's whistled quickly dead. So a couple of yards on that one on the forward progress. See how many they give him total. Looks like about 3 as the ball carrier. Somebody new this time getting a chance to run it. DeBryce Ashung. So Ashung with his first carry for 3 yards. Second down and 7 now. Ball marked at the 24-yard line of the Coyotes, who trail by 6. Middle of the field. Eagles showing 4 in the front line with a gap in the middle. Roswell now with a couple receivers right. Make it 3 now. 1 to the left side. Look like an option look here. Fuentes fakes the pitch out. He'll take it up the right hash as he tucks it and falls forward to the 29-yard line. And that will be enough for the first down. Looks like he's going to get 7. And it'll be placed at the 29. So 7-yard pickup for Fuentes. Second carry for 20 yards. 5th first down for Roswell. He'll keep it on the right hash far side. Clock underneath, 8 minutes remaining here in the second. Hobbs up by 6, 20-14. Quick break of the huddle. Roswell back up to the right hash at the 29. Send a receiver to the Hobbs Eagles sideline, far left. And it looks like just a slot right. No slots on both sides now for Roswell, being the right man in motion. Fake the handoff, give it to the tailback instead. He comes through the B gap left of the line and puts his body forward. A couple more extra yards there. That was a 3-yard pickup. and that will be good for the first down. Jonathan Ellis, no, correction, that was Rodriguez on that play, 3 yards. They must have been short on that last play. 1st and 10 now from the 32. Rolling left, or no, actually somebody else has the football now. Isaac Gonzalez, the running back, got the direct snap. He gets his legs swiped up underneath him as he heads out left in. Boy, taking him out quick and just goes for his legs and flicks him up in the air like a cartwheel that time was Jose Martinez, and he's one of the new defensive linemen. Eagles graduate a lot of guys, 5'10", 220-pound defensive end. And that, although he got him, that's a 2-yard pickup on the flip forward on the run by the wide receiver who was back in the quarterback position, Isaac Gonzalez. So he gets 2 carries for 6 for him. 2nd down and 8 now from from Roswell 35 left hash. Trips right, receiver left for the Coyotes. Now taking some time and changing the play call is Fuentes. Kind of slapping his fist there. I don't think Coach Lynn likes what was going on back there. Calls a timeout. Wants to make sure the play is called right, and we'll talk to his troops. Let's go and talk about our sponsors, Monty. We got quite a few of them this year to make sure Hobbs Eagle football gets the broadcast they deserve, free to the public out there in Hobbs, Lee County, and the rest of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some amazing sponsors. And just a quick thank you to Lee County State Bank, Bel Air Bowl, Divine Energy Services, B&B Rental Services, Aftermath Hot Oil, First American Bank and Hobbs, Hobbs Express, and Eunice Pump and Supply. So thank you so much to them for making this possible.
Big night of football around the state, of course. First game of the season for most teams. They had some Thursday games. In fact, some storms up in Albuquerque caused some delays and changes on schedules. So a couple of teams have to wait till Saturday. But in action tonight from our district, Carlsbad, of course, at Artesia. Clovis is hooking up with Bloomfield. Centennial at Cleveland. Well, that's a tough matchup with some 2 good teams, from one of them from our district, of course. El Dorado at La Cueva. Of course, El Dorado, new addition to our district in the southern part. Volcano Vista at Atrisco Heritage. Las Cruces at Rio Rancho. They were in the state championship last year, was the Bulldogs. And Oregon Mountain is hosting, or actually beat Deming on Thursday, 46-14. So some teams in the district are underway with the 2026 season. We're back in business here. 2nd down and 8 for Roswell at their own 35 on the left hash. Shotgun to Fuentes, 3-step drop. There's a comeback route, caught at the 35 on the right hash, and a tornado to the ground. Maybe about a yard forward progress on that catch. Eagles swarmed him, though, quick. Looked like it was Guevara. They give him about a yard on that one. So pick up a 1 for Guevara. Roswell now 5 of 6 in the passing game. We'll move it up to the 37-yard line. 3rd down and 6 for the Coyotes. Getting the score, Hobbs up 20-14 with 5:55 left, 2nd quarter. Shotgun Fuentes, delay head up, fumble to the backfield. Running back kind of took off. That's where their fumble happened in the 1st quarter as well. Mishandle. That's going to be recovered by Fuentes. He stayed back. The running back was ahead. See if they're going to put his knee down at it on this one. Looks like a loss of 5 on the fumbled handoff there. So Fuentes will have to eat that one, and that'll put them in a punt situation for the first time tonight. 4th down and 12 for the Coyotes at their own 30-and-a-half-yard line. Punter's taking a long time to get out there, and actually that's Isaac Gonzalez. Plays some receiver, some running back, you name it. He's back deep. He'll punt from the 22-yard line, gets a boomer high in the air, end over end. Tried to make the catch and getting clobbered at the 36. The ball's loose. I don't think he had a fair catch. If it would have been, they could have called something on that, but without a fair catch signal, he just got smashed in the face that time. I think the man that was trying to make the catch, he was in traffic, Jacob Garcia, in the middle of the football field, and got his bell rung, and one of those things you get up with stars in your head, if you were in a cartoon, that is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why those fair catches are so important, that way you don't get your bells rung like that.
Well, he might have still got his bell rung, but it would have been a 15-yard penalty for not.
Yeah, that's true.
No bubble protection on the wave off there. But Hobbs gets the football back. First punt of the game again for Roswell. Eagles have punted it once as well, but they do have the lead, 20-14 with 5:03 remaining here in the second. Ball's placed at the 36-yard line. Twins left, receiver right for the Eagles. 4 on the front line for Roswell as we wait for the shotgun for Mr. Junior Madrano. Man in motion, right to left, getting the hand up, reverse, coming back to the right side. It was handed off to Sanders, back over to the right to Garcia. Hits the near sideline, diving ahead. And he's going to get about, looks like they dropped the first down marker there, about make it 8 or 9 on that play. off the reverse, and the man that came around to the right after the reverse was Jacob Garcia. They might have even given him 10, might exactly get 10, which would be a first. Or are they going to say short? Oh, they're going to have a measurement possibly, at least 9. We'll just put it that way. As a nice little reverse coming to the left side and handing it back to the right. So Garcia picking up at least 9, and they're going to give him 10. First down. Hobbs with 6 first downs, now at the 41 of their own. Up by 6, 4:45 remaining. Shotgun to Medrano. He's going to roll left. He's getting chased out of the pocket. Actually, that's make that Dunlap. He rolls left, tries to throw the ball upfield, and it's near the Roswell sideline. I think he was out of bounds. No catch, or catch was made, but out of bounds. So they inserted Dunlap on that one. Incomplete. Hobbs 4 for 8 in the passing game. They tried to loft that out to the far left sideline on the out route. Incomplete to Jacob Garcia. Boy, it's a humid night out here, Marty. You can just imagine what it is down the field with the field turf also giving off about 10 extra degrees.
Oh, I can't imagine. And some of the guys are hustling down that field, so I imagine it's pretty toasty down there. If we're hot, I know they're hot.
Of course, water definitely a major issue in games like this. Second down and 10 from the 45, shotgun. Rolling right, pass for Medrano, dump to the 45 and backpedaling for the catch and close to the first down. Good hand control on the football, keeping an eye right on top of it that time as he was backpedaling into secondary action, taking a big risk. Probably going to feel the helmet right in the middle of the back that time, but a great catch for Hobbs. That was Zaylen Sanders, a sophomore, but they're going to give him only 8 on that play. Looked like he backpedaled for the extra 2 or 3 on that one. So make it 8 for Sanders. The Eagles' 5th reception of the ball game on 10, 5 of 10 total. Trips left, receiver right, 1. Third down and 2. The ball is at the 47 and a timeout. I think they're having this. Coaches want to have something checked about the time clock here. How much time they have to set up the play. Of course, after an out of bounds or incomplete pass, they set the on-field clock is at 40 seconds. That does have to do with the stadium clock. So third down and 2 now from the 47-yard line for the Eagles. Trips left, receiver right. Back for the shotgun, getting ready, Junior Medrano. Fakes a handoff, tucks, comes up the middle, the zigzag, 45, dragging a pile with him. He should have enough for the first down. 4 yards of the pickup for Medrano, but there's a late flag. It should be a dead ball. Helmet is off the head of Medrano himself. I don't know, sure if they ripped it off. If they did, that might have been where the flag came in on the targeting or whatever happened there, but actually, though, I hope they're not marching back towards the Hobbs side. Umpire holding the football, Whitecap coming to talk to him between the two teams at the 39, make it the 38-yard line. Medrano just went straight up and got some blocks up the middle, kind of zigzagged a little bit first, put his head down, helmet came off. Now, if it got ripped off, they can't really call that against the running back. If it just falls off, they can make him sit a play like it happened earlier when they had to bring in Dunlap at the QB. Dunlap just had a play on his own, though, just a second ago. Are they going to wave this off? I know they're adding 15, so I think it was illegal hands on the helmet there. So a 15-yard penalty will tack on for Hobbs. Medrano got 4, but make it 19 after you add the handkerchief work there. Hobbs will pick up their 7th first down, and they're trying to get up ahead more by 6 with 3:39 left second. Hobbs up 20-14 here in the second. First and 10 for the Eagles at the Roswell 27-yard line. Near the middle of the field, shotgun. Medrano fakes a handoff, turns and fires a fade route, right corner of the end zone, leaping catch, going down on his back and making the catch for the Eagles. Touchdown. 27-yarder on the connect to Braden Dunlap. He went up in the air like he was high jumping, going over the bar, caught it and fell right on his back. 27 yards for Dunlap. Exciting catch. That's his second TD reception. 81 yards just on TD receptions. Boy, he's starting to light it up out there, Matty.
Oh, yeah, that's been absolutely amazing. That was a stellar throw. And that catch, oh, my gosh, I'm so impressed by him. He's done a great job.
Waiting for the PAT now here in Roswell. Hobbs to extend their lead, hopefully to 13, unless they want to pull it out and try to get back that missed PAT earlier. Kick is up, and the kick is good as the conversion put through for the Eagles. That's Brandon Almanza, and Hobbs now takes the control here in the second, 27-14 over Roswell with 3:31 left here in the second. Come back with us in 60 seconds live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Hobbs Eagles back on the scoreboard again. 27-yard pass from Medrano to Dunlap, right corner of the end zone, high in the air, went flopped on his back, made the catch, and he jumped up with excitement. His second TD of the ball game at a 54-yarder earlier in this contest. As we get the kickoff from Almanza from the 40, another boomer as we've been seeing all game. Ball caught at the 4, run to the far right, 10, 15, 20, outside the hash, trying to cut it back to the 25 and makes it there. Eagles there to greet him with a big bear hug around the chest plate that time. Coming up with a wrap-up, Davian Villegas, the linebacker. And the man with the return for Roswell, DeBryce Ashon, one of their running backs. Roswell football at their own 25 as they trail on this one by 13 with 3:23 left here in the second before halftime. The Eagles have owned about midway through this second on as a couple of touchdowns coming in. Hobbs with 3 scores in a row in this second quarter. Shotgun. Give the handoff up the middle, up the gap to the 20, or make it the 30. That's going to be a 5-yard pickup. Clock will run here in Roswell. The man carrying the football was Rodriguez. He's been their stalwart in the backfield. 68 yards on 8 carries. Quickly back up on the line. Second down and 6, or make it 5 from the 30. Back to shotgun. Here's Fuentes. Makes the handoff, rolls right, wants to throw on the run, throws the out route, but overthrows the receiver. I think he was out of bounds in front of the Roswell bench. Wait to see what the call is here. Did they give it to him? Possibly they did. Started from the 32. They're going to say he got his foot down there. That's going to be a 10-yard pickup for the first. Double checking to see who that was out there. 10-yard pass play. So it was a completion for Fuentes. They are now 6 of 7 in the passing game of the 6th first down. With a flick around the left end on the pitch to the 45, 50, enter Hobbs territory 45 and run out the first down marker. Ball carrier coming from the right side of the backfield to the left. That was Isaac Gonzalez. And they're going to give him 11 for actually 10 for the first down. So he's got 3 carries for 16. That's 7 first downs, 2 in a row for Roswell in Hobbs territory on the left hash, the 41-yard line. They got out of bounds to stop the clock with 2:39 remaining second quarter. Hobbs up 27-14. Twins right, receiver left for the Coyotes with a slot left side. Short side in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Fuentes back in shotgun, 2-step drop, make it 3 back to the 50. Going to throw the curl route to the near sideline, caught at the 27. That will be about 12-yard pickup and tiptoeing out of bounds in the back pedal. 12-yard pickup on the catch. As coming down with it was Danny Castro. He's had 3 catches for 77 yards. Another first down, that's 8 total. Now 7 of 8 in the passing game for Roswell. Ball marked at the 27 on the left hash. Clock stop with 2:33 left in the half. Hurry up offense for Roswell now. Trying to whittle away at the 13-point deficit at this point with the Hobbs Eagles on the top of the leaderboard. Twins left and right for the passing game, and it's going to be shotgun to himself, Fuentes. Nobody to block for a man in motion left to right. Do a pitch around the right end, going to Gonzalez, who is in motion. Tries to cut back on the right hash to the 22, and he's dropped. That's going to be about a 6-yard pickup for Gonzalez. His 4th carry for 22. Man over there for the Hobbs Eagles making a wrap-up was Alessio Rangel, the new defensive lineman for the Eagles, senior, 6'1", 270. So 5 yards on that play, or actually 6, makes it second down and 4 now from the 21 and a half. Shotgun back to Fuentes. Rolls left, he has 2 receivers going out, fires it to the left corner of the end zone. Nobody there defensively. Nobody playing defense on the receiver. That'll be an easy touchdown. 22-yarder, just waiting for it. As a score in the end zone, missed coverage by the Eagles, 22-yard pass play, wide open, waiting for it, was Alex Lamelli. Comes out of the fullback position, but scores the touchdown. As we get ready for the PAT, 27-20, Hobbs by 7 still, waiting for that extra point for Roswell. Good snap. Kick is up. And the kick is through for the Coyotes as converting for the Red Squad, Jake Amador. 1:53 left, second quarter. 27-21. Hobbs up by 6 here in the Wool Bowl in Roswell. Come back with us in 30 seconds live on Cool 95.7 on the radio, on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Don't forget about your Cool 95.7 app on your cell phone. Go. 27-21 your score. Your Eagles up by 6. They had 3 scoring touchdowns in this second quarter to the Eagles, but Roswell has just answered after a 22-yard pass from Fuentes to Lamelli. So a 6-point ball game as Roswell gets ready to kick off. Again, 1:53 remaining. Hobbs definitely might try to punch one in, but they got to be very careful about what they're throwing, especially in the flats, because that could be run back, and you definitely don't want to have a lead get away from you right before halftime. Could be a definite motivation deflator. Get ready for the kickoff from the 40. The high one into rim, but short. It'll be caught backpedal from the 25 near side to the 30. Getting swiped by 2 and brought down hard, and not really much forward momentum on that one for the Eagles on the return by Robert Garcia near the Hobbs-Eagles sideline on the right. Kind of flicks it to the ref as he knew his fate was sealed. One guy got him high, and the other one came back from behind and pulled him down. So Hobbs football, probably the last drive of this half with 1:48 remaining. Plenty of time to move it downfield. Eagles have had scores in this ball game. To start it off, they got Nelson for a 4-yard run touchdown. Dunlap a 54-yard pass in the second quarter. Nelson another TD, 85-yard run. Dunlap another pass for 27. That's been the score so far for Hobbs. 1st and 10 from the 26. Shotgun. Madrano gives a handoff around the left side, trying to cut it back. Backpedaling on the 30, trying to move the pile for the Eagles. As DeMarcus Hill is the man with the football. Looks like they're going to give Hill 4 yards on the carry. Clock will continue to run. 3rd or 4th carry of the game for 10 yards for Hill. Clock running with 1:28 remaining. Hurry up offense. Eagles back up on the line. 2nd down and 6 from the 31 and a half. Trips right, receiver left. Little confusion in the receiving core where you're supposed to be out there. Shotgun. Delay handoff from Madrano. Rolling right. Dunlap looks like he wants to throw. Fakes it. Backpedals. Throws it on the near sideline. Caught at the 40. And getting knocked near the sideline. Down on his butt that time. A nice catch. DeMarcus Hill keeps pumping the legs. And he's going to go from the 31 down to the 44. 13 yards, but is there a flag? We got officials back deep. I don't see the flag, but I see a conference going on here. Hopefully not a legal man downfield. They flicked it over to Dunlap on the right side. Signal went to the other sideline. I couldn't see what the official Whitecap had on that. It's going to be coming back, though. Yeah, there's the flag back over on the far side left. Looked like the official was kind of like knocking on his front of his hat there, but it was turned around with his back to us, so I couldn't tell what the signal was. But, boy, that takes away a big play as Hobbs is trying to get another score here before halftime, Marty.
Yeah, we only have 1 minute and 6 seconds left. We're up by 7, or I'm sorry, we're up by 6, but we still have some time to get a score in. So if they can get down the field, I think we could get the score up just a little bit more.
5-yard penalty for Hobbs, so bring up a 2nd down and about 10. Make it 11. Twins left, 2 receivers right on the short side in front of the Hobbs bench. Shotgun. Madrano has a man with him, brings a man in motion right to left, fakes a handoff, dumps the ball to the right flat, caught at the 26. DeMarcus Hill makes the catches, going down quickly though. I don't think he got much on that one, did Hill. So no gain on the play. 2nd catch, 5 yards total. We'll go ahead and give him 1 on that one. He did kind of fall forward and stayed in bounds though, but they're going to get the timeout for the Eagles. 57 seconds left here in the second, 27-21. And one thing you got to be careful of is not rushing yourself, because you throw an interception in this territory, Roswell goes to the red zone, and they could get a lead before halftime. And talk about the emotions draining out as you came out quickly to lead in this game to start, but now all of a sudden the home team's got the lead at the end of the half break.
Yeah, with being able to score 3 different times in the second quarter, it'd be rough for them to lose the lead right here at the end of the second.
Listening live to Hobbs Eagle football from the Wool Bowl in Roswell tonight. Hobbs back at home on the second game next week against Artesia. That will pack the stadium, you're sure of that, with the state champs from the 5A coming to town in Hobbs. Eagles, of course, getting the semifinals for the first time in 40 years last year. So they definitely like to continue to taste the playoffs like we've seen with Coach Stevens the last 4 seasons. So here we go with the Eagles after the timeout. Shotgun, back to pass Medrano, 2-step drop, stays pocket, flushed out right, trying to get some receivers open, dumps it right flat, caught at the 35, 40, cut back, Hill, back pedal, 45. He throws his head forward to the 50 and gets the first down. 28 to the 50, 22 on that one. 22 yards for Hill, and continue to pump those cylinder legs up and down the whole time to continue to move forward. That's his 3rd catch for 28 yards. First down, number 8 for the Eagles. They are 7 of 12 in the passing game. And now they got to do some hurry up here with 40 seconds and ticking on the 50-yard line. 1st and 10, shotgun, twins left and right. Medrano rolls right, wants to throw. Little out route at the 45. It's through the hands of the intended receiver. Kind of a hot shot there to Braden Dunlap, but if he would have caught it, I'm not sure if he would have got his foot down in time, so incomplete on that one. But the clock stops regardless. Give the Eagles a little breathing room here with 33 seconds remaining in the half. Up by 6, 27 to 21. Right at the 50 stripe on the right hash. So a little bit of field to work with. Of course, some good legs for their quarterback, Junior Medrano, so that's a second threat. Twins left and right, shotgun. 1-step drop, tucks up the middle, puts his head down, continues to be thrown forward, and gets into Roswell territory. 3-yard pickup. We got bodies. Medrano gets thrown down, throws his helmet off, or maybe got pulled off. We saw a little skirmish there. The guy that wrapped him up, jumping up, almost getting in his face that time, that was Michael Herrera. Was the timeout called? It looks like they'll give Medrano 3 yards on the forward progress that time, and again, any type of fights or shoving people is going to get you a 15-yard penalty, which would probably hurt Hobbs' chances offensively. But if that was Roswell's cause there, that could have really hurt them big time because Hobbs would have been deeper into their territory. And got a lot of great sponsors for Hobbs Eagle football this season. Marty, of course, that's what keeps these broadcasts free on the internet, on the radio, and also on the cell phone around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we just want to say thank you to NMR Pipeline, SunGuard Precision, DNC Electric, Devon Energy, Badger, Eastern New Mexico University, Lasco Construction, Forest Tire, and TDS.
Opening night of the 2026 season here in Roswell. Ty friend here, Marty on video and taking care of our technicals on location. Evie Stuber back at the station tonight. A lot of big games going on with Lee County teams all in action. So Tatum, Jow, Eunice, Lovington, and Hobbs, of course. We'll try to get you some scores as we progress throughout the night. We mentioned earlier all the district teams in action. One team already has a W in their column. We mentioned that one, Oregon Mountain, with the win over Deming on Thursday. Of course, the Las Cruces schools have to kind of divvy up the games Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays because of the one stadium there, the Field of Dreams, so that's why it kind of gets shifted. And we've had some Thursday night games, and definitely not fun road trips for fans and players and anybody else who wants to go to the game to enjoy that. Better for the home team, not for the Hobbs faithful, but boy, as you know, down here in southeast New Mexico, it's travel 24/7 for us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. To get anywhere, it's about 2 hours, and to go to Las Cruces, it's 4. So, but, dedication to our teams.
Of course, next week, Artesia will have to travel to Hobbs for the big matchup, and we're back to live action here. Actually, refs are having a discussion as the Whitecap is running over to the Roswell sideline to talk to the line judge over there. I'm not sure. He's running to the coaching staff, Coach Lynn. Coach Lynn with 3 state championships with Roswell, including one, not this past season, but the year before that against Artesia. Hobbs Eagles, Ken Stevens has picked up a couple of championships at Eunice before coming to Hobbs, his 8th season. And they're looking up at the press box, so it must be a timing issue. We know the score's right, I think. Yeah, 27-21. That hasn't changed any. It's kind of a motion dropper here as we're waiting to get this last 19 seconds left here in the second quarter. And maybe they're going to add some time as we speak. We'll have to wait and see about that. Of course, the Eagles' 3 losses last year, some really good teams. Artesia, 5A champs. Cleveland, 6A champs, and Las Cruces from the district, 6A runner-up. So talk about a resume. That's what Coach Stevens is putting his bread and butter. This team is going to play tough pre-district schedules year after year. Hobbs football, 3rd down and 8 from the 47 of Roswell. They lead by 6. Shotgun Medrano. Two-step drop in the pocket. Tries to cut up. He's got a man behind him, pulling him down from behind. And Roswell's going to make the wrap-up. Big loss on this one. Tyler Gaumond, the defensive end junior, he's the one that pulls him down. That's going to be a 4-yard loss for Medrano. I don't know if Coach Stevens is going to try to get another play, and it doesn't look like he will. He doesn't want to risk any turnovers here. Clock is down to 0, and Coach Stevens out on the field, and he has some words for the team. Talking to some linemen right now. Actually, another coach. That wasn't Stevens. I want to jump the gun there. Coaching staff was going to have a word for the official on that. I think Medrano's getting pounded kind of hard. His helmet has come off a couple of times. One of the times they sent him off, so they're saying that it wasn't ripped off. Another time they called a personal foul for hitting the helmet off, and then it got pulled off again on another play. So I think they're trying to get that psychological advantage against him, and they know he's one of the top players in the state passing and rushing. So Roswell is just kind of continuing to batter him to kind of see if he gives up or not.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a cheap shot to do that because he's, kind of a threat during this game. But hopefully they can figure that out, and this second half he'll be able to keep his head together.
Regardless, 27-21 lead for your Hobbs Eagles, up by 6 as we head to halftime. We're live in Roswell, opening game of the 2026 season. We'll be back in 3 minutes live on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back at halftime here in Roswell at the Wool Bowl as your Hobbs Eagles have the halftime lead, 27-21, a 6-point lead here through 2 quarters of play. Looking at the scoring in the first half, Hobbs started off with the first touchdown of the game as Jesse Nelson punched it in from 4 yards out to make it 7-0, about 8 minutes left in the game, the first quarter I should say. It was Castro for Roswell, got a 49-yard pass reception as he got it from Fuentes, the new quarterback for Roswell. That tied it up at 7-7. Roswell had another touchdown at the first quarter in, 25-yard run for Rodriguez, extended the lead to 14-7 at the end of 2. Hobbs Eagles tied it up in the second, a 54-yard pass from Junior Medrano to Dunlap, made it 14-all. Hobbs with a back-to-back scoring play, 85-yard run for Nelson, his second of the ball game for a touchdown. Missed the PAT, though, on a bad snap, 20-14, Hobbs by 6 in the second. Eagles got another score, so 3 in a row. 27-yard pass to Dunlap, his second of the second quarter, made it 27-14. But Roswell answered in the second late, a 22-yard pass from Lamelli, or to Lamelli, coming from Fuentes to make it 27-21. So the PAT hopefully will not come back to haunt the Eagles because that missed extra point is somewhat of a difference maker there, but a 6-point lead regardless for Hobbs as we get ready for the second half of play. Has been some turnovers so far. Hobbs was able to pick off a pass thanks to Robert Garcia, and then also a fumble recovery too as Eagles picked up one. Double checking who that was real quick. Where was that at? Hollis Luck, the defensive lineman, was able to scoop it up, number 60. Definitely happy about that. So 2 turnovers for the Hobbs Eagle defense against Roswell. Although the Coyotes were managing one pickoff of a pass from Medrano, a tipped from the receiver play that was picked off for Roswell. So 2 turnovers for the Coyotes, 1 for the Eagles. Looking at the offense, first of all, for the Coyotes in the running game, the leader right now is Rodriguez, 8 carries for 68 yards. He had a 25-yard touchdown run, his longest of the night. Also in rushing numbers for Roswell, Isaac Gonzalez. He is slated as a receiver, but does come on the end rounds, etc. 4 carries for 22 yards. Also getting some handoffs in the receiver position, Danny Castro, 2 carries for 24 yards. The quarterback Fuentes, 3 for 15. His long was 13. And last but not least, Ashung with a carry for 3 yards. They've had 5 ball carriers in the first half for 154 yards of the rushing game. In the passing department, the leader in terms of receptions is Castro. 3 catches for 77 yards. All 3 of his catches have been double-digit yardage, 49 for a touchdown, plus a 16-yarder and a 12-yarder. He's definitely a guy Eagles going to have to watch in the second half. Rodriguez, the running back, 2 catches for 21 yards, his long of 14. A couple of guys getting 1 apiece, including Gonzalez, 1 for 13. Kind of surprised they've been throwing him that much in the first half. He's their leading receiver coming back from last year. Guevara has a catch for 1, and one of the receiver coming down with a 10-yard catch. So they've converted 8 of 9 in the passing game, only missed 1 in that first half of action for 144 yards. So pretty balanced offense, 154 in the running game, 144 in the passing game unofficially. That's 298 yards, just a couple shy of the 300 mark in the first half. Roswell had 4 penalties in the first half for 35 yards, and they punted once in the 2 quarters on the field. Over to your Hobbs Eagles. The big rusher so far in the lead is Junior Medrano. 9 carries for 86 yards. Got the drive going to start the game with a 43-yarder, so almost half the field. Another long of 15 for the Eagles' cause. And again, 9 carries for him, 86 to lead the squad. Actually, he's not the leader. He's got the most carries, but he's 3 yards behind Nelson. But Nelson, his numbers thanks to an 85-yard touchdown run in the second quarter, which padded his numbers just a bit. But that was his second touchdown of the first half. He had a 4-yarder to start the game. So 2 carries and 89 yards. Only 2 rushes, but he leads in the total yardage at this point on the ground. DeMarcus Hill, 4 carries for 10 yards. Also getting some grabs in that first half for the Eagles. Jacob Garcia, as he finished up 1 for 8. Or correction, make that 2 for 18. So he had a couple carries total for the Hobbs Eagles. Unofficially in the first half, Hobbs with 203 yards on the ground. If you remember from the game last year, Mr. Medrano had over 200 yards for the game just himself. So he was 46% of the Hobbs Eagle rushing attack last year on total yardage on the season. So he's definitely a go-to guy on the offense. So 2:03 in the first half. on the running game. And the passing department, boy, Dunlap with a great connection several times in the first half with his quarterback Madrano, and Dunlap can also come in at that QB position too. He's got 2 big catches, both for touchdowns, 54 and 27. He had a first one for -5 in the backfield, but he made up for it with those extra 2 receptions, 3 for 76 in the first half. Saunders, the sophomore receiver, 2 catches for 18 yards. And it was also DeMarcus Hill coming out of the backfield. Quite a few catches late in the second quarter. He was 3 for 28, including a 22-yarder for his long. So 3 different receivers that come down with grabs in the first half. The Hobbs Eagles are 4 of 14 in the first half. Not the most stellar numbers out there, but they are pretty aggressive out on the field. Hobbs managing 8 first downs in the first half and 122 in the passing game. So 203 run, 122 in the pass. They are 325. And that is 27 yards more than Roswell in that first half of action. Eagles, again, with just 1 turnover compared to 2 for Roswell. Hobbs had 3 penalties for 20 yards in the first half and punted once. So there's your numbers. And, Coach Stevens there, Monty, in the locker room right now, I'm pretty sure he does not want his team to lose its head. He had some pretty harsh words. The staff did try to get their heads back in. And we saw kind of a lull there as we went into the second quarter. Roswell kind of drug their way back into it after Hobbs had 3 touchdowns in a row. Roswell did get some scoring going finally with the pass to Lamelli, but it seemed like they were getting a little bit deflated out there. We kept seeing that quarterback Junior Madrano getting his head taken off and handed to him, but he's a tough kid. He comes up bouncing up, and he's not afraid. He'll take a hit on a run. He'll take a hit on a pass. But I think Coach Stevens wants to make sure they're on the road. They want to kind of calm down a little bit, but they got to play tough football. I don't think the humidity's helping anybody out there tonight, though.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I think coming back in this second half, they're going to be able to know what to expect, especially with the helmet issues, and to be able to navigate that more appropriately on the second half.
I hope those ambulances you're hearing out there, which aren't really ambulances, but hopefully it's not because of the humidity right now. I'm sure both teams are dousing it in there inside their locker rooms, and we got some fans out on the field getting ready for Roswell to return. Those are police cars that are blaring their sirens out there behind the one goalpost near the field house. So we got a halftime score. It is 27-21 your Eagles. We'll have a little warm-up practice here, and both teams will be back out in the field for the second half of the opening game of the 2026 season. Stay with us. No Mark Broadcasting, live on the internet and the radio. Getting ready for second half action here in Roswell. Both teams out kind of stretching. That's definitely what you need to do when the humidity's out here. Hydration and muscle stretches. Very easy to pull muscles. Ref the game last night in Eunice. It was over 100 degrees to get the game started, and guys going down because that hydration is the main issue with the muscle pulls and spasms and all that stuff. You can see a lot of Hobbs Eagles on this sideline taking care of business right now before the second half starts. A lot of Lee County teams in action tonight, all 5, and we got some scores for you. Tatum completely taking apart Escalante. I passed the bus coming to the game here in Roswell, about halfway down to or halfway up here to Roswell. Escalante probably wished that bus never got to Tatum because the Coyotes whipped him. Shutout Mercy Roll tonight, 50-0 was the final on that one. Great game for the Coyotes to start the season. Unfortunately, the Dow Panthers on HobbsAmerica.com right now, trailing Tucumcari 27-0. Eunice got a big 15-point lead over a bigger division team, Ruidoso at half in Eunice, 21-6. That also on HobbsAmerica.com. And the Lovington Wildcats, who dropped down to the 4A this year, are going to be one of the top teams in the state. They're taking on Goddard tonight, who's actually a step above them, used to be in the same district, 13-7. That's a team that had the scrimmage against Hobbs last week, but boy, big lead for Lovington in that ball game. So those are the Lee County teams besides the score right here, 27-21, a 6-point lead for the Hobbs Eagles. And this first game of the season, always wanted to kind of see what your personnel is like. Hobbs has quite a few guys they're trying to fill the shoes for from last year. In fact, there are a lot of college players this year. Justice French down at New Mexico State, big-time receiver from last year. He was at UNM, but he transferred to New Mexico State before the season started. Braddock Beatty, a lot of guys in New Mexico military, one of the best receivers we've had here. Beatty down there at the Institute at receiver position. Mike Meredith, that big defensive lineman for Hobbs last year, he's at NEMI as well. Jeremiah Mackey, also down or up here in Roswell. I keep saying down and up. We're right here in this town. New Mexico Military Institute, defensive lineman from last year. A couple years back, Braddock's brother, Brock Beatty, is still here at NEMI. He's a linebacker now, not playing quarterback. Of course, yeah, he was a big leader for the Eagles a few years back. Kyler Pickering from 2025 as well, just like Brock Beatty. He's offensive lineman for NEMI still. And back to 2023 graduate, Caden Trevino. Remember him with the big numbers for Hobbs. Wide receiver for New Mexico State. So Justice French going to be a teammate of his this year. Justice was, like I said, signed a letter of intent for not redshirt, but a walk-on to UNM. Decided at the last minute to go to New Mexico State. So he'll be down there with Caden Trevino. And those are the guys we have on our list right now. If you're a family member or friend that knows of somebody that's transferred or is going to a college this year playing some football, please let us know that. Don't want to leave anybody off that list. Always exciting times this time of year. Ready for the kickoff. Hobbs going to do it from the 40-yard line with a 6-point lead on the scoreboard. And here we go from the 40. Keep it a little bit low, but it's going to be caught at the 9, far right. Drop for a second, picked up at the 10, 15, 20 up the sideline, 25, 30, and down to the 32. Little ankle sweep action there to stop the return, going the full distance there, as getting a piece of him at the last minute for the Hobbs Eagles was Davian Villegas, the linebacker. As we get ready for the Roswell first possession of this second half, they trail by 6. Their scores coming off a 25, or make that a 49-yard pass to Castro, 25-yard run for Rodriguez, and a 22-yard pass to Lamelli off the arm of their new quarterback Andrew Fuentes this season. Twins left, receiver right for the Coyotes, again at their 20-yard line. Fuentes back in shotgun as a slot left. Delay handoff, angling left, going around the end, now stretching out, 30, near side, 35, 40, 45, and knocked down shy of the 50-yard line. Going to be 19 yards on that one. That's Rodriguez. He's been one of their go-to guys. So Rodriguez now at the 85-yard mark, 9 carries for him. We'll move the chains for Roswell up to 9 now. Have it just shy of the 50-yard line, the left hash 49, still in their own territory. They'll send 2 receivers right and 2 to the left side. Now make it 3. 3 on left, 2 on right. And guess who's by himself in the backfield? Andrew Fuentes. Taking the time of the cadence, and we got the left side of the defensive line in there way too quick. Although a teammate of his, Isaac Gonzalez, looked like he was trying to go in motion at the last second, so I'm not sure if those 2 linemen brought off. Yes, they were. So going to go ahead and call the motion on, or false start on Roswell. 5-yard penalty for the Coyotes. That brings it now to 5 penalties. First one of the second half, though. 40 yards in penalties so far for Roswell. 2 turnovers and a punt. First down and 15 for the 44 of the Coyotes, left hash. They trail Hobbs 27-21. Delay here on the shotgun. They have stacked receivers, 2 left and right. They're going to throw the screen to the right side. Caught at the 40. Cutting back to the far right to the 43. Trying to push a couple of defenders. And we got a big pileup for the Eagles. He'll be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage that time. Trying to see who that was on that far right sideline in front of that red bunch of jerseys over there. Isaac Gonzalez. Well, he'll be lucky to get back. And, boy, they gave him a nice liberal spot there. Back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Still 15 yards to make up after the 5-yard penalty. So Rodriguez credited with the catch, but no yards. That's his 3rd catch, total of 21 yards. Second down and 15. Ball marked at the 43. So maybe they gave him 1. I'll give him a generous yard on that one. Second down, 14 from the 43. Pitch left. Up the left hash, the 50. Into Hobbs territory at the 45. Got back the penalty yardage. It'll be about 9 on that one. And guess who again? That's Rodriguez. 28 yards here in the second half. And 96 overall, getting close to the century mark on 10 carries. They're going to break the huddle quickly. Hobbs still kind of waiting to see where they're going to move on D. Third down and 3 now from the Eagle 45 on the left hash. 4 on the front line for the Eagles. Twins right with a slot right as well. So 3 on the right side, 1 on the left in front of the Hobbs bench. Looks like a little audible action in the backfield for Andrew Fuentes. Look to the sideline, got a call change. 2-step drop out of the shotgun. Steps up and goes up the left hash. Zigzag out to the near sideline left, 40, 35, pushed out of bounds. Good 2 hands in the back there to get him out for Hobbs. As pushing him out was Michael Jimenez, the defensive back. And that will be a first down pickup for the quarterback, Fuentes. So 9 yards on that one, 4 carries for 24 yards. That'll be the 10th first down of the ball game. Hobbs has 8, but they have a 6-point lead to the Eagles. Just under 9:25 remaining. Actually got out of bounds. They stopped the clock. 1st and 10 from the Eagle, 35 left hash. Shotgun. Fuentes, 3-step drop, stays in the pocket, kind of bouncing around, steps up, now he's going to throw. A fade route, left corner of the end zone, and it's caught near the back line. They're going to say he got his foot down. Yes, they did. Actually did not get out to the left side. He was kind of, looked like he was going to head out, then stopped near the back line, made the catch. And that will be a touchdown. Give me a second here to pull down that receiver. He was red on red in that end zone. I believe that's Castro. So touchdown on that one. 32-yarder to Castro for the score. That's his 2nd touchdown. That's the 9th reception on 10 attempts. He's got 4 catches for 109. Wait for the PAT. This could be the lead for Roswell. Hobbs missed one earlier on a botched snap on a kicking play. High snap on that one too for Roswell. But the kick is up and good. So Roswell's regained the lead, 28-27 with 9:16 left in the third quarter. So a little reversal of fortune here as we get into this second half. We'll be back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Eagles now trailing 28-27 here in the third quarter, 9:16 remaining. After a scoring play for the Roswell Coyotes, 32-yard pass towards the back line, left side of the end zone. As Castor comes up with his 2nd touchdown of the game, and this is not a place you want to kind of let your emotions drain here. It's been a close game throughout, Amadi, but the Hobbs Eagles are on the road dealing with humidity, and the Roswell Coyotes, who are almost the state champs last year in the 5A.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, but, you know, we still got some time. It's been very back and forth, but I have faith that we're going to get back to it.
Of course, both teams dealing with a lot of graduates last year. Roswell having to deal with 33 in the program, and Hobbs only returning 4 starters on each side. Here's the kickoff, end over end to the near side. Catch at the 26. Stutter step, heading up the right hash, trying to strip himself away from one blocker, but then there's another one coming down and wrapping him up hard. Then getting the return for the Eagles, about a 3-yard net average on that one. He tried to slide a little bit to the left, and getting swamped was Robert Garcia. Trying to get himself back to that right hash. It'll be Hobbs' possession, down by 1 here in the third quarter. Of course, we mentioned earlier in the pregame show, Hobbs with the pretty good win-loss record against Roswell since 2004. They're 17-4 against the Coyotes. Coyotes have won 4 times, 2016, 19, 23, and 24. Of course, 24 was their championship year. 1st and 10 from the 31. Medrano fakes the pass. He's going to roll around the left end with the run. 35 takes his blocker with him. Continues to plow ahead. And he's going to get, looks like, 5 yards to the left hash off the angle. Good job up ahead of him for the Hobbs Eagles with a nice block. Getting his helmet down was Isaiah Sosa. So 6 yards for Mr. Medrano. Medrano now over the 100 mark. 102 with 10 carries. He had 2-0, I think it was 201 last year against Roswell. 2nd down and 7 now from the 38. Twins left and right, or right and one receiver left. Fakes a handoff, but Medrano going to head left again and trying to pull some people to the 40. I might have got forward progress. One official has marked it 1-yard pickup, and that's what he's going to get on that one. So Medrano's starting to take the team on his shoulder now, helping that offensive line move things forward. Left side getting a lot of work on there to help him advance around the end. Up ahead that time, I believe it was Aaron Partita, 265-pound lineman on the left side. Trips right, receiver left. 3rd down and 2.5 to go. Close to the 40-yard line, left hash for the Eagles. Still on their side of the field. 4 on the front line for Roswell, bringing 2 linebackers up the middle. Option out to the right on the pitch, 30, 35, 40, 43-yard line. That should be enough for the 1st down. Looks like 4 on the play. Little pitch out of the right end, and that was a connect to DeMarcus Hill. So they're going to give him 4. So Hill with that 4-yard pickup moves the chains. He's got 5 carries for 14 yards, 9 first downs for the Eagles. Now on the right hash at their 44. Twins left, receiver right. Clock down to 7:33 left 3rd quarter. Eagles down by 1, 28-27. We're up by 6 at half. Delay handoff, angling right, and Hill's going to go down rodeo style, slung down by the hips. Pumping his fists and throwing it in the air after the wrap up in the backfield was Elias Lujan, the defensive end. And just a 1-yard loss on the play, but I guess he liked that one pretty much, as he thought he'd won the state championship after that tackle.
Oh, yeah, it was a great tackle, unfortunately for him. It was a great tackle.
Yeah, I don't think Hill's too worried about it, just a yard drop in the backfield, but got to get some blocks around the right side. A lot of stepping going to the left to start it off with Junior Medrano, but now moving around this a little bit. They got stacked receivers, 3 on the left hash for the Eagles, 1 short side right for the Hobbs Eagle bench. Quick screen to left side, high in the air, caught in the big fingertips, brought down by Garcia. Head sideline 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. The afterburners in the end zone for the touchdown. I can't believe he broke away from that group. That's going to be 58 yards, caught it on the left side screen near the Roswell sideline and bursted ahead, 58 yards. Boy, he is going to be huffing and puffing with that humidity, but off to the races. Get some low 5s right now coming back. Robert Garcia, unbelievable play there. 58 yards for Mr. Garcia.
Oh, that was fantastic. Oh, I'm so excited. I think I'm sweating a little bit. That was so fun.
Imagine what he's doing right now on that field.
Especially this humidity. What a great run. Good hustle for him.
58 yards unofficially. We'll wait for the PAT. Eagles. Oh, they fake it. A pitch around the right end and a throw coming to the right end zone. It's knocked down right on the goal line, right side of the end zone, getting his big mitt up there to swat it down for Roswell. And that was Caden Robinson, kind of thrown in traffic that time, but it wasn't designed fake a little pitch rollout for the Hobbs Eagles to try to get back that missed PAT earlier. But more importantly, Hobbs up by 5 now, 33-28, 6:38 left in the 3rd. Both teams have scored once. This thing is a seesaw fair in Humid Wool Bowl in Roswell, back in 30. Hobbs regains the lead here. 58-yard run after a screen pass. 58 yards and a touchdown for Garcia. And your Eagles lead by 5, 33-28. Ready for the kickoff. Here we go. Sidewinder kick going towards the sideline. Going to go out at the 8. That will be a penalty flag flying. 35-yard line is where Roswell probably will elect to take the football. Got some options on that, but Coach Lynn's no fool. Got 3 state championships here in Roswell. Will take the best field advantage he can get, which will be the 35. And now the defense is going to have to step up. You could see this game being one where maybe one turnover could cost it. We saw that 2 years ago. Some turnovers going both ways and went to overtime. Eagles losing by a couple of points here on the road. A heartbreaking loss, but a hard-fought battle between those two teams. Last year, Eagles winning by 10, but they would love to win on the road here to get this 2026 season on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a tough thing to not get that 2-point conversion, especially with missing that extra point earlier in the game. But I still think there's a little bit of hope for us to go ahead and pull out this win here on the road in Roswell.
So Garcia with that big touchdown for the Eagles, and Roswell going to start from their 35 after the kick out of bounds. Fuentes in the shotgun. He'll send a man in motion to the right slot now. Both slots are filled. Give the handoff around the left end, cutting back up the middle across the 35 and try to come back around again to the left, but he's going to be dropped in the 35-yard line area. That's Rodriguez. And taking a piece of his head off that time for the Hobbs Eagles, a real rough style there. The linebacker, Davian Villegas, boy, that kid's been involved a lot. And he got a little action back there last year when they had some injuries for the Eagles and really stepping it up. Just a 1-yard gain for Rodriguez, one of his lower numbers of the night in terms of rushing. Right now with 29 in this second half, has 99 total, one away from the century mark, though. As right now, the only guy in century numbers is Medrano for the Eagles. Second down and 9 now for Roswell at their own 35. Fake the handoff, rolling right, dump pass right side of the field. Caught at the 40 on the screen. Backpedal for extra yard. Going to be 8 on that far sideline in front of the Roswell bench. They did a good job showing hands up there and getting that place to throw the football for Fuentes. As coming up with the catch, that's Lamelli's second one of the game. So he's definitely happy about that. He's got, looks like they just give him 7. Second catch for 29 yards. 10th reception for the Coyotes. Going to bring up a third down and 3 from their own 41. They trail Eagles by 5, 33-28, 5:15 remaining. Rolling left, the pass throws up in the air, caught at the 45, open, 40 near sideline, 35, 30, and run out of bounds at the 25. Another first down pickup. Be 35 yards on the catch. Kind of a fade route to this near sideline. Double checking the number on that one. I believe for Roswell, got caught in traffic there, Daniel Guevara. So that's going to be 35 for him. Second catch for 36 total. 11th first down for the Coyotes and their 11th reception. More importantly now on the Hobbs Eagles side of the field at the 25 on the left hash. Clock stopped out of bounds, 5:06 remaining in the third. 33-28, Eagles up by 5. Trips left, 2 receivers right. By himself is Fuentes, gets a man in motion. Pitch out to the right side. Isaac Gonzalez around the end, 20-15, gets the speed, 10-5, end zone, touchdown. Once that kid gets a few steps, he's gone, and they paid the price on that one. 25 yards in motion from left to right around the end, up the Roswell right sideline, goes to the pylon and scores. So Guevara, or correction, that was the receiver coming from left to right. Gonzalez for the touchdown. 25-yarder. So lead is regained now for Roswell. 25-yard on the pitch play, again left to right. Waiting for the PAT. All these kicks are very important. 34-33. Roswell up by 1, pinning this PAT. Looks like they will go for it. They're going for the 2-point conversion. Trips right, receiver left. A 2-point conversion, get up by a field goal. They shifted one of their slots from right to left now. Fuentes looking back to the sideline. I think they're a little bit not understanding what they're going to get on this call here, and they finally get the shotgun to Fuentes. Fakes a handoff. He's going to run right with it and just gets inside the pylon as he stretched it out to the far right. Good fake handoff to Rodriguez going left around the left end. Then cut back and one of those naked bootleg type of things left to right, and he scores. So the 2-point conversion put through for the quarterback, Fuentes. And now the 3-point lead for Roswell, 36-33, 69 points on the scoreboard. 4:56 left, third quarter. Come back with us in 60 seconds. No Mark Broadcasting, live on the radio and the internet. Your Hobbs Eagles trailing by 3, 36-33. 4:56 left, third quarter to kick off for the Coyotes. End over end, get a bounce at the 20. Big wicked bounce, scooped up near side of the 25. And a high stepping out of bounds for the return man. That was Braden Dunlap. And late flag. It might have been a late hit out of bounds. Not a good decision by the Coyotes on that one. He's about 3 yards out, and he was up straight up to go out of bounds, and somebody tossing him to the ground. So that could be a 15-yard penalty if that's what it was. It was on the Hobbs Eagles sideline near right. Nice little bunch of numbers there to move the ball up for the Eagles. That would be a 15-yarder against the Coyotes. That's their second of the ball game in that category for 55 yards. Still haven't seen the signal yet. The minute I looked down, of course, the white cap pointed towards Roswell, so I know it's against them, but got to be the late hit out of bounds. It is, 15-yarder. So that's going to move the ball up. Some good position now. Across the 40, you're going to mark it the 41-yard line. Of course, Roswell just getting done with a 25-yard run on the reverse left to right. Scoring was Gonzalez for his 5th run of the ball game for 47 yards. Roswell had 154 yards rushing in the first half. Eagles at 203. Hobbs football, though. 1st and 10 from their 41 right hash. 4:51 left, third quarter. They'll send trips left, 2 receivers right. By himself, low snap to Medrano. Shotgun at the 35, scampering right. Near the near sideline, throws it back up the field and caught at the 45 and getting all the way down to the 40. That'll be a first down and then some for 17. Roswell's starting to pile on, and that's going to be a first down plus. That's DeMarcus Hill. 17, that should be another 15 to make it a 32-yard play, and Roswell not learning their lesson here.
Yeah, that's a rough place for them to be, especially only having a 3-point lead. Hobbs is getting so close because they are on the 42 line. So it's about time for them to score again.
Officials having a discussion here. Looked like Hill was flat on his back, and it looked like somebody from Roswell just kind of flattened on top of him way after the play, which would be a dead ball foul tack on. 17 on the catch. 15 would make it 32 forward total. But a long discussion. You'd think it would have been a quick decision here as an official that called it saw somebody piling on, I think, unless there's some other call they're looking at here. They're not looking at the review for sure. It's just a discussion about usually when there's this long of a conference, somebody might have seen a little bit differently than what the first official saw there because it's taking a long time on this one.
Right.
Unless they're just trying to get the spot of the where the ball should be here. I hope they don't wave this thing off. Taking a lot of time here to get this signal to both sidelines. Unsportsmanlike. Ooh, against the Eagles.
Ooh, what?
Oh, wait a second. Now they're going to go both ways with it. So we're going to wash it out. So they're going to keep it 17-yard catch for Hill. And that will move the chains for the Eagles. So the first down will be converted. But both teams got tacked with a 15, or unsportsmanlike could have been 15, but since they both got the call, it just washes it out. So Hobbs will get it. 1st and 10 from the 42 of Roswell on the right hash. Trips right, receiver left. Getting ready for the shotgun. Coming to Medrano. Hard snap count. Roswell flinches, but they don't cross the neutral zone, so no call there on the offside. Got Hill on his right shoulder in the backfield, too. Good snap. Little pitch right. Hill, stutter step near sideline 40, near the Hobbs Eagle bench, and backpedals to the 45. So he's going to get 6 there. And I like the thing about Hill is he's not going to go down easy. He's going to keep using those legs, and when he's getting pulled, he's still going to move some people with him.
Yeah, that's a lot of power that he holds to keep going.
That's going to be his 7th carry for 19 yards. That'll move it up to the 34-yard line. 2nd down and a long 2 for the Eagles on the right hash. Need to get to about the 31-yard line approximately there in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. Underneath 4 minutes and ticking here, 3:50 to be exact. 36-33 Roswell by 3. And whistle coming before the snap. I'm not seeing a flag. Did somebody get a timeout here? It looked like the back judge was the one in that deep secondary that came sprinting to the line of scrimmage. Now they have another talk with the white cap. Still looking for yellow handkerchiefs. You see one out there, Monty?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
I don't know how it could be against the defense unless there's a substitution issue out there. Wait and see what the signal is. Unsportsmanlike again. This one against Roswell. I think there might. Did official look like he might have been throwing his thumb up in the air too?
Oh, look, there was a flag.
Yeah, real close to the line, but almost looked like the official threw his thumb up after that, which would be an ejection signal, but they send a player off with his helmet off. That's Jonathan Ellis. He is their leading tackler from last year. Coach Lynn is livid. He's out on the field now. Yes, Ellis big-time tackler from last year and definitely a college prospect. He is off the field. Now, I'm not sure if he was thrown out, but he's the one that walked off after all the call was made and had his helmet off, nothing on his head, which you don't usually are allowed to do that either. You're supposed to have your equipment on, but wow. And that's getting Coach Ellis off the hinges right now. 15-yard penalty regardless against Roswell. That moves the Hobbs Eagles definitely into the red zone. They've had 3 15-yarders in this ball game. First down for the Eagles, they're 11th from the 20. Shotgun. Fake handoff. Madrano going to head left across the 15, 10, spins, backpedals, and is inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. Started about the 19. He's going to get 11. So Madrano going to keep this offense moving along here. He's now at 104 in terms of yardage at this point. He's got 18 here in the second half. And that will be another first down, first and goal now. 12 first downs for the Hobbs Eagles, but more importantly, they trail in this game by 3. Wait for the shotgun, Madrano. Delayed handoff around the right end. Hill's dragging some people with him and then gets sat down on his butt. He had 3 red guys on top of him. Couldn't get through him and got all tangled up in the action there. Just shy of the 5, so maybe about 1.5 yards, depending on the forward progress. Coming to help out was a cornerback that time on that side. So he was heading right. That was David Fresquez, the defensive back. So about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 for Hill. Give him 2 on that one. He's got 21 yards on 8 carries. Not big numbers, but he'd love to add 6 points on the scoreboard. Hobbs trails by 3, 36-33, 2:55 remaining third quarter. Madrano went shotgun. Gives it to his tailback up the gut. Hill's going to plow forward, get close to the goal line. Did he make it? Oh, nope. We got the line judge not signaling a touchdown here. Head linesman, I should say, on the near right. But he's close to the 1, so they're going to give him about 4 yards on that one for Hill. Boy, you can start smelling the skunk here in the stadium here. I mean, literally a rodent out there on the bench.
Yeah. Yes.
2:20 left and ticking, 36-33. Eagles a third and goal from the 1. Split formation backfield. Shotgun, Madrano gives it back to Hill. Once again, the bulldozer is out, plows it straight ahead for a 1-yard score. Hill gets us on the board to regain the lead. Nice job up ahead for the offensive lineman up there. Trying to make sure there was a little bit of a gap to get through that goal line. Just needed some of that forward momentum. A 1-yard run for Hill for the touchdown. First score of the ball game for him. The running back returning from last season. They're going to get the guy out there a little bit late on the PAT. That will be Robert Garcia as he lines up on the left end of the kicking team. Very important as we get ready for the hold here for Conlon McCool, of course, backup quarterback. And the kick is up. And the kick is through the uprights for the Eagles. That's a big conversion for Brandon Almanza. 2:08 left, third quarter. Eagles back up. 76 points on the scoreboard. Hobbs 40, Roswell 36, back in 60. Ready for a Hobbs Eagle kickoff as they lead 40-36, 2:08 remaining here at the Wool Bowl in Roswell, the humid Wool Bowl. Long, deep kick in over end, bounces at the 2, scooped up by the Coyotes on the return far right, 10, 15, 20, bouncing off a tackler, 25, 30, 33, 35, near the sideline in front of Roswell's bench, in front of the homestands. A big pile up for the Hobbs Eagles, but a good return for the Coyotes. And it will be Roswell football in great field position here, trying to get back this lead. Hobbs scoring off a 1-yard run from DeMarcus Hill to get the lead back for the Eagles, plus the PAT. So this thing looks like it's going to go down to the wire with 1:59 left, third quarter, 40-36. Hobbs up by 4. Of course, a wild banger last night at Watson Stadium for the JV. Was it 76-69 or something? Crazy numbers in that ball game. Eagles winning the win at home. Ready for shotgun. As the handoff comes up the middle, spun around at the 40 and dropped down. Maybe a yard, 2-yard gain on that play. Coming up with the tackle for the Eagles. Up across the shoulder pads there, Davian Villegas, the linebacker. Rodriguez will get 2 yards on the play. He's been pretty much the go-to guy in this game. Rodriguez just in this half with a total of 31. He has got 99 yards total at this point. Or 98, excuse me. And a total of 12 carries. Second down and 8. Fake the handoff, rolling left, wanting to pass his split test. Throws the long out route, but overthrows his receiver to the near left sideline. Defenders gave him a big gap for the Eagles secondary, and he was just kind of stretching his arms out near the Hobbs-Eagles sideline on the left. Going out for the pass play for Roswell was Alex Lamelli. Incomplete, though. That'll bring up a third down and 8. Roswell football at their own 40 on the right hash. Next week we'll be at home at Watson Stadium. Artesia Bulldogs in town. They're playing Carlsbad tonight. We'll try to get you a score by the time this second half is done. Already a winner in Lee County. Tatum shutting out Escalante earlier. 4 receivers on the near side on the stack, 1 right. Shotgun Fuentes by himself in the backfield. He's going to slide left. Back pedals as 4 Eagles chasing him. Back in the 25, rolls back to the right. He's going to fire on the run and throws a low pass. Is it caught? Into Hobbs territory at the 48. Let's see if they're going to give it to him. 14-yard catch down on the turf to make the catch, sliding under at that time. So a 14-yard reception, and that's going to be connected to Isaac Gonzalez. Second catch for 27 yards, 12th first down for Roswell, and the 12th catch of the ball game into Hobbs territory at the 48. Took a long time, rolling left, rolling back to the right, getting some blocks in the backfield for Roswell. At the Eagle 48. Twins right, 2 left as well. They'll throw the screen to the left side again to Gonzalez. Up the near left side, stutter step, and spun down to the 45. Good wrap up for the Eagles. Getting a good grip on him that time was Uriel Barrera, the defensive back, junior. That'll be a gain of 5 on the forward progress for Gonzalez. Back-to-back catches for him. Or actually, no, 3-yard pickup. Move it back just a bit. He's got 3 catches now for 30 yards. And a second down and 7 now from the Hobbs Eagle 45. Still here in the third quarter, 17 seconds left and ticking. Hobbs by 4, 40-36. Trips right, receiver left on the short side. Man in motion right to left for the Coyotes was Lamelli. Back to pass, 3-step drop for Fuentes out of the shotgun. Firing the slant route, overthrows his receiver. Boy, the Hobbs Eagle defender got lucky. It looked like he took his helmet off that time, or tried to get it off there, and trying to get the PI call was Daniel Guevara. Was playing the ball, but a little bit of a high shot there. They don't call it, and that will run out the third quarter clock on the incomplete pass for the Coyotes. Well, this one is a back and forth affair here in Roswell. We'll go to the fourth quarter with a 4-point Hobbs Eagle lead, 40-36. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle football on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Back in half a minute. Ready for fourth quarter action here in Roswell as the Eagles lead 40-36. And Marty, of course, the Eagle broadcast would not get on the radio or the internet without the sponsors. They don't have to pay subscriptions, all the listeners out there or people watching on the internet. It is free. We're not like the big boys that charge $9.95 a game or whatever the heck they do. But why do we have – give us some of these sponsors that help take care of business for us on the radio and the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Lee County State Bank, Bel Air Bowl, Divine Energy Services, B&B Rental Services, Aftermath, Hot Oil, First American Bank and Hobbs, Hobbs Express, and Eunice Pump and Supply. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors to make this possible. And thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us while we do this game.
Back live here in Roswell. Sorry about the audio hookup there. We had a problem with the audio, but Roswell just scored a touchdown, a 50-yard pass play. A little pass to the near sideline up for the score. That was Isaac Gonzalez that put it through for Roswell. So 50 yards for the Coyotes here in this fourth quarter. Great cut up after he was up the near sideline. He cut back and got into the end zone. Definitely got some speed out there. Des Gonzalez had a 25-yarder earlier in this ball game. So a 3-point Roswell lead, 43-40. 83 points on the scoreboard. Kick is going to be caught at the 32 on the right hash. Stepping back to the 35, headed to the far right sideline for the Eagles. About a 3-yard return. Got swarmed pretty quickly, did Robert Garcia, and he's been named quite a bit on this special teams unit tonight. Both teams have been in the end zone a ton of times, and first score of the fourth quarter is from Roswell. But back in the third, it was Roswell, then Hobbs, and then Hobbs again, and then Roswell. So it's been going back and forth here at the Wool Bowl. And definitely not a type of cloth that you want to be wearing in the Wool Bowl tonight, wool, because the humidity is awful tonight.
Oh, it's brutal. Absolutely brutal. And we were just attacked by a grasshopper. So yeah. it's just a night full of adventure.
First down and 10 from the 36 for the Eagles. Trips left, receiver right, Medrano. Fakes the handoff, rolls around the right side with the run. 40, quarterback keeper, and throws his body forward for a couple extra. Out across the 40 to the 42. Looks like 5 for Medrano, the quarterback for the Eagles, coming back after last season, of course. He's got a total of 23 here in the second half, 109 overall. Of course, Medrano last season on the ground game was 46% of the rushing attack, 1,475 yards, averaging 122 a game, and had 8 games, 100-plus rushing, plus 16 touchdowns, which was the best on the team in terms of scoring on the run. Back to pass. He'll go with the shotgun, throw it quick out to the right side, caught at the 44, breaking a tackle, 45-50, and that will be a first down. Looks like about 13 on the play. I believe that was Dunlap on that far right sideline. So Dunlap with the catch. Moves the chains for the Eagles. His fourth catch for 89 yards. That'll be the 13th reception or 13th first down, 11th reception. As they move the chains, actually move it back a little bit to the 48 of the Eagles. And there's a man down. That's what the stall here was. And it looks like a Hobbs Eagle flat on his back at about the 43 in Roswell territory. Dunlap was on the sideline. He came back, so it wasn't him. I know also standing over the top of his teammate right now to make sure he's okay for the Eagles. One going over there was Jacob Garcia, but that's not him. Somebody's flat on his back at this point. Looked like an offensive either receiver or running back out there. Doesn't look like a lineman body at this point. Eagles are going to come to the sideline, and usually in these very humid games, referees try to take advantage of water breaks as much as possible because that's what causes the cramps. You don't keep the hydration going. Going to get that pulled muscle situation. And I don't know if that's the case right now. Hopefully that's all it is for the injured Eagle. They'll have to come out for a play regardless, but more importantly his health. And looks like he's going to get popped up right now. Appears it was a receiver, I believe. Yeah, Zaylon Sanders, the wide receiver, sophomore, of course. Hobbs lost all their top receivers from last year, and Sanders is one that definitely has some athleticism out there. Mentioned several guys playing some college ball this year, including some of those seniors that have departed. Of course, the likes of, a ton of them, Beatty and French and Mora, Ortiz, all those guys, 4 seniors. Those 4 guys had 19 of the 23 pass receptions for touchdowns last year, so that kind of tells you the potency of those 4. And again, a handful of them playing at New Mexico Military Institute. French is down at New Mexico State now. So after the injury, it's Hobbs football still, 1st and 10 from the 48. After that catch from Dunlap. He's in a nice little connection with his quarterback Medrano tonight. Trips left, receiver right for the Eagles. 1st and 10 from their 47-yard line. Take a little bit of time now as Medrano. Getting everybody set and ready to go here. 4 on the front line for Roswell. Shotgun. 2-step drop. Fires a slant route right behind his receiver, but a nice comeback to make the catch at the Roswell 42. That will be just enough for the first down. Catch was made for the Eagles in traffic, too. That was Conlon McCool, the junior, also backup quarterback. So McCool getting his first catch to match his number 11 on his jersey. 14th first down for the Eagles, 12th reception. And moves the chains to the 41.5-yard line on the right hash. 10:38 left, 4th quarter. Hobbs trailing by 3, 43-40. Trips left, receiver right. Moving shoulders from left to right in the backfield around his quarterback is Nelson. He's going to get the delay handoff around the left end of the 40. Cuts it back up the middle and then spun down at the 39. So reinserting him in the offense after 2 rushing touchdowns earlier. Nelson will pick up 2, and he's one of those guys that plays both ways. He's listed as a DB this year on the roster, but kind of had a feeling they're going to insert him. He had some pretty big carries last year in relief work. 2 yards on that one for Nelson. I believe that's his first rush of the second half. 3 carries for 91 yards. He had an 85-yard rush for a touchdown and a 4-yarder, both scoring in the first half. 2nd down and 8 for the Eagles at the Roswell 34-yard line. Twins right and left. Shotgun, comeback pass route on the near side, caught in the backfield, 40 near side, 35-30, tiptoed up the sideline. We're going to see where he stepped out. And that's going to be, looks like a 13-yarder for the Eagles and the first down. That's going to bring Almanza, his first catch of the game. So Almanza gets 13. Another first down catch for the Eagles. I think they did get him out of bounds there. 1st and 10 now from the Roswell 26. That'll stop the clock with 9:38 remaining. Hobbs down by 3. Twins left, 2 receivers right. Back to shotgun. It was a fake handoff for Medrano. He's going to cut up the middle, angling left now, 25, 20, near sideline 15, and steps out of bounds. Past the first down mark. He's done a great job of reading the sidelines, especially in front of the Hobbs Eagle bench. That'll give him 11 on the carry. So the quarterback with his second 11-yard carry in this 3rd quarter, or second half, I should say. 120 yards on the ground on 14 carries. That'll be the 16th first down for Hobbs. And he did step out to stop the clock with 9:30 remaining. 43-40 score. Hobbs down by 3. Trips right, 1 receiver left. Medrano back and shot again. Has Hill next to him. Fakes the handoff. Heads left again. Stumbles. Almost lost his balance, but he keeps his gain and keeps backpedaling now and meets the red wall up close to the 10. Might be just shy of that. Started about the 11, or 16, I should say, and gets to the 11. So 5 on the back pedal there for Medrano. Kept his feet going. So he's well over the 100 mark. One of 2 players, one for Roswell Rodriguez. Second down and 5 now from the close to the 10-yard line on the left hash. Touchdown would take the lead back for the Eagles. They send 3 receivers right, 1 to the left side. Shotgun Medrano. Delay handoff, cutting the left gap, throwing his head over the top of the 5-yard line and diving forward is Hill. And Hill for 5. Just kind of plugging it through to continue to bash it towards the end zone. Hill's had 7 carries in the second half, including a 1-yard touchdown run. 31 yards total. 11 carries for Hill. Clock runs at 8:45 remaining. First and goal. That was a first down, so that'll be number 17 of the ball game. Split formation backfield. Back on both sides of these shoulders. Handoff up the middle, and there he goes. Hill off to the races, right up the gut in the A gap for the score. So he's going to go up for 5 for the touchdown. Hill, second score of the second half for him. 1 for 1, 1 for 5. And guess what, Molly? It's back up to a lead for the Hobbs Eagles.
Absolutely, we are up 46-43. That was a great progress and a good commitment to getting down that field.
Good job for DeMarcus Hill, his second touchdown of the ball game, all coming in the second half. And again, every PAT, very important for both teams. Brandon Amonza to kick again. Almost blocked. He does a hard shot with it and gets inside the left upright. Trying to dive for make the block on that was Isaac Gonzalez for the Coyotes, but could not get leather on that one. So your Hobbs Eagles back up on top. We have had a total of 90 points on the scoreboard in this one. 8:35 remaining in the fourth. Hobbs 47, Roswell 43. Back in a minute. Quick return to the kickoff here. Hobbs going to kick off from their 40 as we're ready for this one to go long and deep. Almanza gets it down to the 3. It's muffed but picked up at the 2-yard line. Brought back down the middle of the field for Roswell by Guevara. Heads out far left. Beats one tackle but not taking the second one as he gets the ball stripped. I'm not sure they're going to say he was down. Yes, they did. But what a great grab for the Eagles across the front of the shoulder pads that time to put a slap on the football. They said he was close enough to the ground. They called it dead, but a good job for the Eagles on coverage there. As getting a piece of him was Daniel Lawler. And it will be Roswell football. We should mention, too, this is the most combined points scored between these two teams since 2013. They combined for 84 points back then, 49-35 Eagles in that win. And now 13 years later, we are at the 90 mark, so 8 above that. I don't know if you call it a record, but at least the combined scoring. Twins right, receiver left. Delay handoff up the middle to Rodriguez, 15. Far sideline left, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and shoved out of bounds at the 48-yard line. That's going to be a 35-yard pickup for Rodriguez. Big time rush up that far left. That's going to be his best of the ball game at 35. And he's well above the century mark, just like the quarterback for your Hobbs Eagles, Mr. Medrano. So both guys getting a lot of work in this ball game.
Yeah, our offense has been fantastic on both sides. Our quarterbacks are doing it.
First down for Roswell. That's going to be their 13th of the ball game. They have it at their own 46, but they trail the Eagles by 4. 2 receivers left and right, both stacked. Pass is going to go, fade to the far left, caught at the 40. And that should be enough for the first down. Late flags are flying in, so I kind of wonder what this was. Boy, it took a little while, and that sounds like there might have been some lobbying on that Roswell sideline. That would be about a 17-yard play. wait to see what happens here. The catch was made regardless. That wasn't the issue. Alex Lamelli. So depending on the penalty, that's 17. And it looks like they went back to the original line of scrimmage for some reason. Maybe they said that they didn't get caught. Late hit possibly. Yeah, I think they just marked off the yardage from the line of scrimmage, so maybe the ball wasn't caught. Looks like a late hit, 17, or maybe defenseless player on the ground there. So a 15-yard penalty against the Eagles regardless. Only their 4th penalty of the ball game for 35 yards. So that will give the Roswell Coyotes their 14th first down on the football at the Eagle 39-yard line. Twins right, receiver left, shotgun. Fake the handoff, go to a slant route, caught the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, off to the races. 37-yarder that time. So Roswell back on the scoreboard, and that's going to be Castro with the catch. And he was in a big slant, kind of a wide slant too. He didn't come down the middle, but kept it kind of toward the sideline. But 37 yards for Castro. That's his second 30-plus yard touchdown reception in this second half. He had a 32-yarder earlier, making it 5 catches now. Just 69 yards in the second half in pass receptions. And 146 overall. He's definitely a playmaker for Roswell, and they got a late substitution coming in. There's not enough players on the field. We've seen that several times tonight for both teams, and now they got 2 guys trying to run out there. They only need 1. Assuming they got the 25-second clock running on the field here. As we await the PAT. Good snap, kick is up, and a booming one through the uprights. As putting it through for Roswell is Ben Vieira. So a 37-yard pass reception to Castro, and back up on the lead board now, 97 points. We're getting close to the century mark. 8:05 remaining, 50-47 Roswell. Come back with us. The tug of war continues here in Roswell. Tug of war continues in Roswell, the very humid Roswell Wool Bowl tonight. Of course, it's been hot the last couple of days around the area. And Marty, I know the water is going to be pumped out quite a bit on that sideline, but you still can't always beat those muscle situations. But it seems like both of these teams had a few injuries, but nothing real horribly that, of course, we haven't seen anything out in the field that's kept anybody off the field to come back. But, again, they're putting everything on the line in this first game of the season.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen a lot of these guys end up on their backs trying to make these plays, make some of those catches. So it's a very physical game, so I hope they're staying hydrated because it's hot out here.
Roswell getting that 37-yard pass play from Fuentes to Castro to take the lead again by 3. 50-47 your score. Ready for that kick from the 40-yard line. One of these teams will be undefeated after this first game of the season. It's going to be a big question who that could be. An onside kick. It bobbles through the 50. Great dive for the Eagles. The hands crew ready for it. And getting at the Eagle 49. And just getting those hands scooping underneath for Hobbs. Great play by Andres Navarez. Wide receiver, of course. Just a sophomore, too. There's a bunch of young guys on this team, especially in the receiving core, that really have to step up this season. In fact, Coach for the Hobbs Eagles, Coach Stevens saying that a lot of young guys will continue to be the starters and get a lot of play time in that wide receiver position. We saw that kid right there get his body down to make sure that wasn't going to get through for recovery for Roswell.
Yeah, our young guys are doing a fantastic job and really showing up against this tough team.
Of course, Roswell, the runner-up last year in the 5A. Eagles went to semifinals for the 6A. Late receiver getting in for Hobbs, having to run cross field to get there. That's Garcia. Ready for shotgun. Medrano, 2-step drop back at the 40. Scampering right, throws it on the run to the slant route. And there's Dunlap jumping high in the air for the pull down for 11. Right between the gap of the secondary back there at the 40. They're going to give him 11 on that one, though. Good size up there to put his hands up in the air and rip that thing down. So 11 yards for the big kid, Dunlap. His second catch in the second half, 24 total there. And now he's at the 100 mark off of 5 catches. That's going to be the 18th first down for the Eagles and 14 receptions. And a first down at the 39 of the Roswell Coyotes, middle of the field. Shotgun to Dunlap. Fakes the handoff, runs up the middle. Keeper, 35, 30. There's a flag, though. Around the left end, 25, 20, 15, 10. I think this one's coming back. Usually about halfway down the field, if you see a flag coming, a legal block or a hold, and looks like one of the officials holding their wrist and showing the white cap, it's a holding penalty, so erase what all I just said. That'll be a 10-yard penalty. And it's actually going to be from where the hold happened. So it was a few yards across the line of scrimmage, but usually when those flags are flying at that point, you know it's not going to be good for the offense.
Right, it was at least really good hustle. It was great hustle to try and get there.
So that's going to will back it up here behind the 40. Unfortunate for the Eagles on that one. They haven't had a lot of penalties in this ball game. That was just their 5th of the contest. So Coach Stevens had this team sound and ready to go in this game. And that's talking to Coach Jett, one of their line coaches earlier this week. He says one thing, this is a very heady, nose to the grindstone type of team out here. They got a lot of roles to fill with the guys that graduated last year, but they really get down to business. Trips left, receiver right, first down and 20 now. Shotgun, fake the hand on Medrano, wants to get up the middle, 35, 25, and it's dropped down, actually 34-yard line, excuse me. Humidity's taking over my tongue here, and he's out to the 35. He's going to pick up the holding yardage and then some. Looks like they're going to give him 15 total for the quarterback for the Eagles, Medrano. Looks like I need to be hydrated just a little bit here. First down and 7 for the Eagles. Or second down and 7. Shotgun again. Medrano fades right, throws a fade route to the right side of the pylon, into the end zone. Let's see, they're going to go with the catch or out of bounds. Yep, they're going to call the touchdown. That's going to be a 34-yarder. Touchdown to guess who? Mr. Dunlap again, 34 yards. Just a fade route towards that right pylon of the goal line, far right side in front of the Roswell bench, and they burn him on that one. So Dunlap coming up with a big catch, his 3rd touchdown of the ball game. Not his longest. He had a 54-yarder in the first half, but he'll take that one now, too. 3 scores for him with 58 yards and receptions on 3 catches in the second half. And 134 overall in terms of total yardage on 6 catches. The kick is up, and it is, late flag coming from the back line. Well, I'm kind of wondering what that's all about. Did somebody try to hit the center? Because we got the 2 referees on that back line. They're kind of watching the line of scrimmage from a distance, about 10 yards behind that, so I'm not sure what they saw, but usually they like to warn those defenders not to crash the center, but I thought that kick went through anyway, so I think they just say decline the penalty. Yep, that's going to be declined, so whatever it was, couldn't see the signal from the white cap there, but that will be a good PAT for Hobbs. More importantly, we are at 104 in terms of point production tonight, 54-50. Hobbs by 4 once again, 6:51 left here in the 4th. We got more action coming back on No More Broadcasting's first game of the season on the radio and the internet. Go. 104 points on the scoreboard tonight at the Wool Bowl. Your Eagles up 54-50. And Monty, a lot of great sponsors for this game, and I'm sure a lot of fans waiting to see who's going to win this contest.
Absolutely. We need to say a big thank you to NMR Pipeline, SunGuard Precision, DNC Electric, Devon Energy, Badger, Eastern New Mexico University, Lasco Construction, Forest Tire, and TDS.
Got to read those pretty quickly because they're hurrying up these kickoffs quite a bit. They did call a 15-yard penalty against Roswell on that PAT, so I think somebody did hit the center, and that's why they're moved into Roswell territory to kick off from the Roswell 45. I don't think they want to hit this into the end zone. Oh, they are going to boot it long. Thought they would try to pin Roswell back at the goal line, just kind of put it high up in the air, but he booted it right through, and so that's going to give them at the 20-yard line. So it will be Roswell football. Again, we're here in the Wool Bowl. Of course, a couple years ago, New Mexico Military Institute won a national championship in the JC ranks right here. Pretty exciting season. Of course, a ton of Hobbs Eagles playing here this year. Guys from last year graduating, and several that were here before that stayed last couple seasons. So pretty exciting stuff here in Roswell. I'm sure they're probably in the crowd tonight, taking a break unless they're on the road playing football tomorrow. 1st and 10 from the 20 for Roswell. Twins right, no receivers left, handoff, angle to the left, 25, 30 up the middle, 35, 40, 45, 50 into Hobbs territory, one to beat, 40, 30, far sideline left, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. And that's going to be an 80-yard touchdown run. How is there any energy left for stuff like that for either team? This thing is just a barn burner in Roswell. 80 yards. And that's somebody I don't think has even had the carry in this game so far. I'm double checking that. I thought it was Castro at first, but give me just a second. It's Crair across the field. I think I'm seeing a 17 there. It's either 17 or 12. Excuse me about that. Abameo Jimenez or Francisco Guzman. Regardless, 80 yards on the play. Came out of nowhere and up the field. Regardless, it's the first time he's carried the football in this game and scores big on that one. This thing is not over yet by any stretch of the imagination. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So an 80-yard touchdown run for the Roswell Coyotes. And I keep looking at the sideline here. I believe that is 17. Abameo Jimenez, who is a sophomore. So they got some youngsters that are doing some damage too. 6:39 remaining, and here we go again. 57-54. Whoa, 111 points on the scoreboard, and we still got 6:39 remaining in this quarter before maybe this game will be over. They had overtime a few years ago. Hobbs losing a close one here, but let's keep it right here at the Wool Bowl. And again, next week, big game coming up for the Artesia Bulldogs coming to Hobbs Eagles, and they are the 5A state champs. Barely picked off Roswell in the state championship game last year, 25-24, a 1-point win. Roswell was in the lead, but coming back at the end was Artesia. So that kind of tells you the caliber of some of these teams the Eagles like to play in the pre-district schedule. So we'll wait and see what the score is on that game with Artesia tonight. They're playing at they're home against Carlsbad. Artesia, though, graduated 35 seniors from their team from last year, and 21 of those guys were starters. But they have 35 seniors on the squad this year, so one of those recycling situations in Artesia. But we'll see how good those recycled, or not recyclable, moved up seniors are for Artesia next week, and kind of excited to see what that score is of that game. We'll kind of get you caught up on the Lee County scores, too. We already know that Tatum shut out Escalante tonight, so that's a great one. And Lovington was leading guard the last we checked. Chow was getting beat by their opponent, and Eunice was up on Ruidoso. Ready for the kickoff for Roswell. They'll keep it low, end over end, caught at the 32 on the far right, up to 35, to 40. Cutting back to the middle and brought down at the 42-yard line. Taking his knees out that time. I believe that was Garcia. And, boy, that kid is getting hit from all angles. But gets up, as he usually does, jogs off the field. And he might need some ice after this ball game, and probably to put in his mouth and to put on his knees, too. Definitely a human one out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And as you've said, hydration is so important. You know, they have the home field advantage, being a little bit more used to this humidity than our guys over in Hobbs.
Of course, Coach Stevens, he definitely has his team ready for playoff action like he's had over quite a few years here with the Hobbs Eagle program in his 8th season, and continues to take the teams to the playoffs, especially the one last year, went all the way to the semifinals the first time in 40 years. Of course, having to play Cleveland, who ended up being the state champs. 1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 41 as they trail by 3. Shotgun. Medrano falls down, but is able to hand off on the right end. Hill, 45, 50, into Roswell territory to the 48. And that's going to be an 11-yard pickup for Hill. And Medrano was going to the ground and barely reached to the right to hand that football off. And Hill goes off to the races there for 11. We got bodies down now. As you can just about tell, this exhaustion is starting to hit some teams that are out in the field at this point. But Hill gets the 11 that he wanted there to move the chains. That will be the 19th first down. In fact, that's kind of weird, but that's his longest of the night, just 11 yards. But he's starting to get the scoring for the Eagles. 2 touchdowns here in the second half. Of course, Eagles lost some key players from last year as transfers. Amron Wheeler, one of their top tacklers and penetrators on the defense. Seamus Wright, running back, he's in Lubbock, I believe at Coronado there in Texas. So critical players on this team have gone elsewhere because that new transfer rule just came into play where you can transfer once anywhere you want in New Mexico. Of course, you can go move to Texas too like Wright did, but still that opens the door up for guys to kind of move around a little bit. Of course, Coach Stevens moves on with the roster he's got, and look we have here against a team that's was the number 2 team in the 5A last year and won a championship a couple years back, so no slouches out there. Looks like it is some Roswell injuries we're talking about down out on the field. We'll take a quick break as the Hobbs Eagles trying to get back in this ball game, trailing by 3, 57-54 to the Coyotes. 6:26 remaining. We're coming back in 1 minute.
Clear.
Back to live action here. Roswell helping their injured player off the field. We thought it was number 20, but then they had a bunch of guys kind of swarm in a pile as they left the field, so kind of hard to tell who that was. But it was Hobbs football regardless before the break. 1st and 10 from the 47. Eagles down by 3, waiting for the shotgun. Twins left and right. Handoff around the right end to the 45, 40, and sliding for a few more. Hopefully close enough for the first down. They're going to go ahead and give the forward progress on that one. DeMarcus Hill, it looks like he might be shy by about a half a yard for 9 on that one. He's got 46 here in the second half. 56 overall does DeMarcus Hill. Second down and short for the Eagles at the 38-yard line of the Roswell Coyotes on the right hash. Again, it's 57-54 Roswell, 5:50 and ticking in the 4th. Shotgun coming for Junior Madrano. He pulls out of the play on a split formation backfield. His 2 running backs on his each shoulder. Got 2 receivers left and right. Recall here now from Coach Stevens. Slowing it up here. Hands it up the middle. Breaking through 30 and brought down to 28. Will be a first down plus. Be about 10 yards on that carry. I believe that's Nelson that time. Double check that as checking that second number. Yes, it is Nelson, so he's going to get the first down. 11 for him. So he's been kind of a spot player in this game at different locations. Has 2 touchdowns out of it. He'll take those. He's over the 100 mark now. That'll be the Eagles' 20th first down and get right back up on the line. Twins left, receiver right, back to the split in the backfield with 5 minutes left, a 3-point deficit. Fakes a handoff, and then he gives it at the last second. Madrano on the left end to the 25, 20, 15, 10, a spin move down to the 9 and the 8-yard line. Going to be a 20-yard pickup for the Eagles, and boy, he's kind of flat on his stomach right now. Oh, he might have got an ankle on that one. Ooh, that's bad to see. Making sure who that was that time. There was a little bit of a delay in the backfield. They had the split formation, so wasn't sure who got that at the last second. It looked like it was Jesse Nelson, and he's being helped off the field. 20-yard pickup for Nelson. He had back-to-back rushes on that. 33 yards in the second half. And 122 overall. That's the 21st first down, and more importantly, they are going to have to deal with him on the sideline to see, look like maybe an ankle. First and goal now from the 8. And looks like Coach Stevens wants to make sure the right plays are called here. Maybe just one play, get that thing in the end zone with 4:27 remaining. Big mistakes now, not the time to make them, and he does not want to make any type of opportunity for Roswell to get that ball back. 57-54. 3-point lead for the Coyotes. 4:27 left in the game. We're back in half a minute. Our tongues are hanging out of our mouths. Right back to action. Quick timeout. Twins left and right. Eagles first and goal from the 8. Madrano has the football. Heads left on the angle. Pulling people with him. Going towards the end zone. Spun around. Thrown down with his helmet to the turf. And the football across the goal line for a touchdown. Dragging guys on his jersey to the left side of the goal line. And he's the first to come out of the pile and run back to the sideline. 8-yard run for the touchdown for Madrano.
Woo!
That's his first score of the ball game. But more importantly, gives the Eagles the lead, 60-57, 117 points on the scoreboard. Hopefully, another one will be tacked on here as we await the PAT kick. We still got a lot of time on that clock at 4:19 remaining. Don't want to miss any PATs in this ball game at this point. Almanza getting ready to kick. Ooh, it hits the right upright and bounces off to the right in the thick of the upright. He's got a big and very powerful leg, and definitely on the kickoffs, he extends it way down there, but that time it hit so hard it ricocheted to the right, and off, no chance for the score. So, boy.
Man, that is 2 extra points that they have missed in this game.
And the thing about it is it still keeps it in range for Roswell in terms of the field goal deficit, 60-57.
Absolutely.
Let's look at some of the Lee County scores we have. We had one earlier, final favor of Tatum. Go ahead and get that one first, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. We have Tatum, who won 50-0 over Escalante. And then we have Tucumcari in the lead with 47-8 against Jal. Eunice is in the lead with 40 to Ruidoso's 26. And Lovington against Goddard is leading 20-14. And Jal, Eunice, and Lovington are all in the 4th quarter. So coming up to the end of their games.
I'm sure this one's going to last a little bit longer than those are at this point with all the scoring we've had in this game. But the missed PAT still keeps it a 3-point game, 60-57. Hobbs by 3 with 4:19 remaining. But again, Madrano with that big scoring touchdown. 8-yard run for him to get back the lead for the Eagles. Here's the kickoff from the Hobbs squad. It goes back and caught at the 6, up the near sideline to the 20. Stutter step, cutting back. Beating a tackle to the 25 and continuing to angle, trying to get back to the middle, but it's going to be brought down well inside the right hash mark towards the near sideline was Daniel Guevara. And that's a tackle by committee. A couple guys in there getting low on him first for Hobbs. Gavin Garcia also in on the play for Hobbs. Davian Villegas, one of the guys that's really stepped up big tonight from the linebacking core. Defense got to get tough here as they lead by 3. 60-57 with 4:06 remaining in this ball game, at least the regulation part of it.
And there's still plenty of time for Roswell to tie up this game, so the defense has really got to get it together and hold them back.
Most points the Eagles have scored in this series with Roswell is 52 back in 2012. They're at 60 right now, so above that mark big time. First and 10 from the 30. Delay handoff on the left end to Rodriguez. Uses his blockers. 35. And gets drugged down from behind at the 37. He's got about 6 on that one. But talk about a wipeout there for the linebacker of the Hobbs Eagles, reading that one and getting in quickly. And coming back with a straddle move from behind to rip him to the turf. I think that was Caleb Blackman coming out of the linebacking core that time. But they're going to give him 7 on the play. Of course, Rodriguez definitely going to be exhausted after this game. Has 1 touchdown, but a lot of yards over the 100 mark. Second down and 3 from the 36. Give it back to Rodriguez, heading left with those blockers again. Getting shoved back to the far sideline, though. Not sure he even got back to the line of scrimmage. Might have lost a yard or 2. Just couldn't get it extended out enough. And greeting him there with the first chest-to-chest blow was Gavin McPherson, the linebacker. Of course, big-time tackler last year, over 100 tackles for the Eagles last year, and more than the leadership this year for the squad. And they're going to say, what did he get? I don't think he got a gain on the play. McPherson met him hard. His body slid back a little bit, but they didn't give him much of a loss on that one. So still 3 yards to get, 3rd down and 3. Got to get to the 41 right now at the 37. Twins right, 2 receivers left. Shotgun coming to Fuentes. Low shotgun. Little delay handoff to the left side. He's going to be shy of the 40. Needed to get to about the 41 on the left hash. So he gets 2 on that one, does Rodriguez. And Roswell continues to go to the well here. And they're going to their bread and butter guy, again, Rodriguez. He had 68 yards just at halftime alone. Had a 35-yarder here in the second half, his biggest rush of the night. And a 4th down and 1. Big play for Roswell. Close to the 40. Need to get to the 41 with 2:10 and ticking here in the 4th. Big play here. The 3-point Hobbs lead, 60-57. And we got a timeout. Last second call here. Hobbs staff wants to talk to the defense. They definitely want to say one thing. Don't jump off sides. Watch the football. Definitely don't want to give up a freebie, a 5-yard gift. And Hobbs been very sound in terms of the penalties tonight. Only 5 total. So that's definitely a great way to start. A lot of teams that like to rack up double-digit penalties in the first game of the season. Not like to, but that's the way it works. Trying to get different chemistry out there and guys being moved in and out, and sometimes it just doesn't get where you want it. But tonight, they've been taking care of business and playing some sound football, not making crazy mistakes. But one little slight move on your defensive lineman, putting that foot across the line, and it's not like the NFL where you can come back and no call, but very important play here because if you give them a first down, that gives them a fresh set, and they need to score just 3 to tie it and a touchdown to take the lead. 2:05 remaining, and how do you feel about your first game with the Hobbs Eagle broadcast, Monty?
Oh, it's been a ton of fun. I absolutely love this. I think I'm going to get used to the talking part of it because I'm doing the camera work and trying to be to contribute to what you're saying.
And definitely cooling off just a little bit. We see a little bit of a breeze coming through as we continue, but I'm sure it's still probably up in the low 80s at this point, if not higher. The heat's going to come on for the Hobbs Eagle defense here after the timeout. 4th down and 1 for Roswell at the left hash 40-yard line. Got to get to the 41. If the Eagles get it, they probably can run out the rest of this ball game. Roswell will send one receiver far right in front of the Hobbs bench. And they got double slots. One slot coming. Oh, there's motion by 2 guys heading right. That will be a penalty against Roswell. They stopped the game for that, and that'll be a 5-yarder. So now it makes it a little bit better for the defense because even if they do get a offsides penalty, it wouldn't be a first down. So 5 yards against Roswell. Hobbs fans are excited here. They want to get that W. Won by 10 last year at Watson Stadium, 37-27. The year before that was a overtime win for Roswell by a couple. 4th down and 6 now from the 40, or make it the 35 on that left hash. Eagles put 4 on the front line. Clock to 2:05 remaining in the 4th. Hobbs by 3. Twins right, left, shotgun. Back to pass Fuentes. 3-step drop. Rolls right. Gets some pressure. Stops at the 30. He's going to load on the out route. Near sideline is caught at the 47. That will be enough for the first down. And that's going to be about 17. As making the catch for Roswell was Guevara. So big catch for him, waiting for it on the near sideline, kind of just holding out there. So Guevara gets 17 on the play. He's got 2 catches for 52 yards in the second half, 53 overall. First down, they're 15th of the ball game. Shotgun, back to pass. Fuentes going to air it to the left sideline for an out route. Caught at the 42 and then drug back to the 45. Forward progress will get him some, though. And that good hands receiver out there, been real critical in this game, Isaac Gonzalez. Had that big touchdown earlier. Got to give Gonzalez 3 on that one. Boy, my stat sheet is a major mess right now. That'll be a 3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7 from the 44-yard line. Twins right, 1 receiver left, shotgun again. Fuentes back to pass, 3-step drop behind the 50. A lot of time to throw. He's going to scamper left, still waiting for a receiver. Tucks it goes, 40, 35, up the sideline, 30, 25, 20, cuts it back, and that's where he'll go down. So he's going to get, looks like 22, up to the Hobbs Eagle, about the 20-yard line. So 22 for the quarterback, Fuentes. No receivers getting open as he slid to the left side of the field in front of the Roswell bench. That'll be a first down, number 16. Moves the chains with 1:04 remaining, 60-57. Eagles by 3. 1st and 10 for the Coyotes on the left hash, 20-yard line. Twins right, receiver left for the Coyotes. So have 2 in the backfield, including the quarterback Fuentes. He has Rodriguez behind him directly. Delay handoff up the middle, 20. He crashes into the Hobbs Eagle linebacking core and goes down quickly. He'll get about 3 on that one, does Rodriguez. Clock will run, and Roswell definitely wants it to run because if they score, they don't want to give Hobbs any chance to have some time to come back the other way. Ball's at the, looks like they move it inside a little bit more than I thought there. Looks like they got it at the 16.5-yard line. They'll give him that 3 as we mentioned. They can get a first down, it looks like at the 10 at this point. Clock stop with a timeout, 45 remaining. And let's get some more of our sponsors, Monty, because they're the people that make sure this game is staying on live and not paying a subscription charge. Evie, if you could make sure that feed going on the internet right now doesn't get cut off on us, as we're going to go later and later on this one, it seems like. 60-57, Hobbs by 3 on the timeout. Sponsors, Marty.
Yes, we have Lee County State Bank, Bel Air Bowl, Divine Energy Services, B&B Rental Services, Aftermath Hot Oil, First American Bank and Hobbs, Hobbs Express, and Unis Pump and Supply.
Guess we're going to have to bring an oxygen tank up next time, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Of course, it will be hot next week, of course. The Eagles will be hosting Artesia in Watson Stadium. The 5A state champs, but this one just as good. Second place team out of the 5A trying to punch it in. They're trailing the Eagles by 3 with 45 seconds remaining. Second down and 7 from the 20. Back to pass, rolling right is Fuentes. Tucks it goes, quarterback keeper, 15. Heads left, heads outside. He gets dropped at the 12-yard line. He's going to get about 4 or 5 on that one. Critical tackle for the Hobbs Eagles. Looks like the linebacker coming in and a little bit hobbled on that one. Give me a second to check that out. Far field. We're kind of well away from the field here to get those numbers read. That's a 40 series for the Hobbs Eagles, and it looks like and get kind of hurt in the leg. Caleb Blackman, too, the junior. And he had some action last year and had to come in some sub action for the Eagles. But he was the one that made the wrap up there. A 4-yard gain for Fuentes, the quarterback. He hasn't had a lot of rushes in the second half. A total of 50 yards on 6 carries overall in this ball game. But kept the play alive. And third down and about 2 is where we got it right now, about the 12-yard line for Roswell. Trying to get in the end zone at the left hash. So we got coaches on the field, right, talking to their troops at this point. 37.2 remaining on the clock. 60-57 Eagles. 117 points on the scoreboard. Major eclipses the original combined scoring that we saw back in 2013 of 84. Final for that one, 49-35 Eagles. Here we go, back after the timeout. They're down at 2 from the 12, left hash. Twins left, two receivers right. Man in motion left to right. Shotgun Fuentes fakes the pitch, rolls left, 15, far sideline, 10, 5, touchdown. Fuentes with the rush for the score for a 12-yarder around the left end. He's acting like he was going to pitch it a few times and then tucked and went up that sideline. That's where some of their big breakaway plays have happened, is in front of the Roswell bench, but Fuentes has scored. First score for him tonight to take a lead again. Clock is stopped with 30 seconds, so Hobbs will have a little bit of time to work with. A couple will be whittled off on the kickoff. But the score now going to 63-60. Now, very important here they get this PAT because Eagles have a nice little leg of Almanza, not a little leg, a big leg. So he definitely could get a field goal if need be. But right now, more importantly for or Roswell at least, is to convert their PAT at this point. They do have the lead now. Barrow's going to get the good snap. Kick is up, and it gets inside the right upright for the point. We'll keep it right here. 30.6 remaining, 63-60. 12-yard touchdown run for Fuentes. Again, first game of the season, barn burner here in Roswell, the Wool Bowl, site of the Junior College Championship a few years ago as the New Mexico Military Institute team in town won the championship. Pretty exciting stuff, and a lot of Hobbs Eagle players are here. I would hope at the game tonight, unless they're on the road somewhere, but I didn't check the schedule. But guys are showing up for the Institute and supporting a real good cause here with the military style. Not only do you have to go to practice, but you got to be marching, getting up early, and doing what you're told to do 24/7. So, again, great to be here and try to get a win over this Roswell Coyote team. This Coach Lynn definitely knows what he's doing with 3 state championships here in Roswell. Of course, Coach Ken Stevens, no slouch with the 2 he got in Eunice in that semifinal matchup last year for the Hobbs Eagles. That, of course, the first time getting that far in the playoffs for 40 years. So, again, program on the up and up when it comes to playoff potential. Roswell fans getting a little loud. Eagle fans as well. They're anticipating a big run back. We got guys that can bring it back, too. Both crowds are getting real loud. We can hear the bands blaring here at the Wool Bowl. Get ready for the kickoff for Roswell. They definitely don't want to loft it up too much. Give the Eagles time to get down and get some blocks. Probably going to make it a little bit hard to handle here, I would expect. And here we go. The kickoff is going to be end over end, but short. Right back to that far right side. It's fumbled by the Eagles. The ball's loose, picked up by Roswell. And going across the 10-yard line with the recovery, coming up with it was Landon Lucero. It dropped about the 30. I think they must have lost it in the air or something. It looked like he just hit the turf. I don't know if he even touched the receiver out there. But unfortunately, that's going to be a turnover, and Roswell is going to be able to run the clock out. 23 seconds remaining on the turnover on the kick return team. So this will probably be a kneel down for the Coyotes, and an unfortunate way to end this one. But boy, talk about some scoring production. 64-60, 124 points on the scoreboard. And they've kicked a lot of those to that far right sideline, little short end over end stuff. I'm not sure what happened on that. We got a flag. I think we're just going with the kneel down play. Maybe the Eagles that came across and made some contact. I don't think it's illegal to do that. Usually the referees will just tell you that they're going to kneel down, but if you don't hit the quarterback, I'm not sure what the call is here. Officials are getting together on this one, and flag flew. Are they pulling it up or what? Like officials look like they're not ready to walk off here. I'm not sure. Second turnover of the game for the Eagles. That one on the special teams. Again, I guess it was a false start, so a 5-yard penalty against Roswell. So they'll have to run a play or two here, the 34-yard line. Now they're going to back it up even more because I don't think they had the mark off to begin with. Oh, there might have, I guess it was a personal foul on sportsmanlike, I guess we got. So 15-yard penalty. Took them a while to get that marked off at the 44 now, which still they can kneel it down with 21 seconds remaining. 64-60. Fuentes deep underneath the center, backs up about 2 yards and kneels down. He'll lose 2 on that one, but that will run the clock. Should be enough to run the game out as well. And Roswell comes back, lost last year 10 points on the road to Eagles at Watson Stadium, but tonight they get the win. Unfortunately, based on a special teams fumble, that game was back and forth throughout. Eagles started the scoring up by 7, and then Roswell came back. Eagles got 3 big touchdowns in a row in that second quarter. Led at the halftime by 6 points. Roswell came back and scored. Hobbs scored. Hobbs scored. Roswell. Hobbs. Roswell. I mean, it was just back and forth throughout much of that second half as well. Again, final score, 64-60. Roswell goes to 1-0 on the season. Eagles drop to 0-1. Exciting game here at the Wool Bowl. We'll come back with the post-game show in 3 minutes. Back here at the Wool Bowl in Roswell, barn burner as the Hobbs Eagles unfortunately lose a close one, 64-60, as Roswell gets the first win of the season by 424 points on the scoreboard. And the Hobbs Eagles will take their own 1 record to Watson Stadium next week to take on the Artesia Bulldogs. And boy, one of those things that you'd hate to see any team lose, and it's such a battle. Of course, the Eagles look like they had the game in the bag. I would have to have the kickoff, not in the bag, but they had the kickoff return. Unfortunately, fumbled. They probably would have had about 25 or so seconds to run some plays, but it'd have been a rough road to hoe. But still, unfortunately, the turnover cost them only their second turnover of the ball game. But again, this was a back and forth game, kind of a seesaw affair. And Roswell Coyotes are no slouch. 5A have been in the last 3 state championship games, won 1 out of 3 of those against Artesia. But that's why Hobbs continues to schedule the 5A, because they give them such great competition first couple games of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a bit of a bummer when they weren't able to get some of those extra points in, and that may have contributed to part of, falling behind. And man, Roswell really just came back in that second half and ran the ball. They have great runners on their team. Once they got the ball, they were fast and furious.
You can also say, too, we got a lot of energy in both crowds, too. Very loud. The bands were going loud, cheerleading section, student section, and you just got to see a lot of eruptions out here on the field tonight at the Wool Bowl. Both the cheering sections really loud and part of the action here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that basically 124 points on the scoreboard. Pretty exciting stuff. I should also mention, too, I think this is a final score, I believe, but looks like it's Carlsbad upsetting Artesia tonight. I don't know if you can say that's an upset, because Carlsbad did go to the playoffs last year. It looks like the final was 20-13 in that game. So the Cavemen from the Hobbs Eagle district get that win tonight, and hopefully that is the final. I'll double check to make sure that wasn't some erroneous score. I believe that is the final score, 20-13 Carlsbad. And well, if that does change, we'll let you know. We'll try to get you some Lee County scores here in just a minute. Going to do kind of a quick rundown. Might not get to every stat in the book here, but since we're past 10 o'clock tonight. But we want to mention, first of all, for the Roswell Coyotes, top producer on the ground tonight, the rushing game, Rodriguez, 17 for 146. Only had 1 touchdown with all that scoring that went on, a 25-yarder, but that kid was just breaking loose quite a bit tonight. 25 was his second best run of the night. He had a 35-yarder in the second half and a 19-yarder. So we knew coming in, Luis Rodriguez would be a factor, but at the same time, even Coach Lynn himself thought he was saying he was the best back in the state. Not a real tall kid, very short kid, but he does have the cylinders and the pistons that move up and down the field.
Yeah.
He's triple digits for him tonight. He was the only guy that got over the century mark for Roswell. They did have Fuentes, 60 yards, and he had a big 12-yard touchdown run late in the contest that kind of kicked it through for the victory for Roswell. Gonzalez, he was another speedster out there, had 5 carries for 47 yards. Castro, wide receiver, had a couple of end rounds at 2 for 24. And a couple other guys coming in. There was a kid that came off the bench late. I'm not sure. Maybe just said he had a little juice in him because everybody else was so tired. Hopefully he didn't get the number wrong on this. But Abimael Jimenez, I think the sophomore, he ran that 80-yard play from the way back, in their side of the field all the way in for the touchdown. And, again, no matter who it was, 80 yards is the number on that one. Started at the 20 after a touchback. So definitely a big boost in momentum for Roswell in that situation. So unofficially 360 yards is what the total was in terms of the running game. Quite a few receivers involved in this one, 6 total. Guy with triple digits, Castro, 5 for 146, and he had 3 touchdown catches in this one, 49, 37, and 32. So he definitely was getting out there and really kind of pumping the crowd up after he would score and really got them fired up for him. We also mentioned Isaac Gonzalez running the football a little bit tonight, but he was at the receiver position, caught a 50-yard score on a pass, 5 for 83 total for him, so he was another factor. Guevara had 3 catches for 53 yards, no scores, but a long of 35. Also getting a catch, or a couple, Luis Rodriguez, the running back out of the backfield, 2 for 22. And a couple other guys thrown in there, but 5 receivers coming up with catches in this one. They were 16 of 19 unofficially in terms of the passing game. The passing production, 343. So they ended up with 703 unofficially in the yardage in this game. 16 first downs in this contest. More penalties in the game, though, for Roswell. That's one thing the Eagles definitely beat them on, was soundness of play. A lot of mistakes, a lot of 15-yard penalties on Roswell. In fact, they had 4 of those, which is 60 yards when you combine all that, and then a couple other ones involved in there too. Looks like 90 yards of penalties tonight for Roswell, and two turnovers, interception, and a fumble. Did not help them out in certain parts of this game, but came back to win it with 64-60. Again, 7:03 unofficially the numbers for the Roswell Coyotes. Flipping over to the Hobbs Eagles side, we mentioned the big production on the running game for Rodriguez at 146, but the Eagles got 148 from Junior Medrano, the quarterback, so very close with those two guys in this game. Of course, he's a quarterback, instead Rodriguez a running back. But in terms of scoring, Medrano did get one in the second half, had an 8-yard rush. He had 86 yards of his 146 at halftime, so starting off with that 43-yarder on their first drive of the ball game, so definitely got things pumped up with that. So again, 146 the total for Mr. Medrano in this game. Also getting 89, Nelson, or actually, excuse me, 5 for 122 was Nelson. Nelson went out late. He got hurt after a 20-yard pickup as they were pushing it down for their last score of the game for the Eagles. But still, big production. Wasn't in there for every play or anything as a starter, but he had a touchdown run of 4 and 85. Almost got a score on that 20-yarder, but got hurt. Got helped off the field. Got a first down on that inside the red zone, but hopefully he's going to come back and be fixed up there over the week. But 5 carries, 122, and 2 touchdowns. And again, he had spot time in the backfield, but made big construction with that when he had a chance to do it. Other rushers tonight, Hill, DeMarcus, 14 carries for 56 yards, 2 touchdowns in the second half. Short stuff, 1 and 5, but good power running for him. A couple other guys got some runs tonight for the Hobbs Eagles. Braden Dunlap, also a receiver, of course, but he had 1 for 8 yards. And it was Jake Garcia had 1 for 10 yards. Hobbs unofficially 344 in the running department tonight for the ground attack. On the passing side, it was a Dunlap show for sure. 6 catches, 134 yards, 3 of those for touchdowns, 54, 27, and 34. Has some good size out there, good connection with his quarterback, Junior Medrano. Dunlap also plays little quarterback, too, when needed. So I think those guys have themselves on the same pathway. They can launch some passes down the field, him to get underneath him with his size, and definitely triple digits in terms of yardage for him tonight. Garcia had a catch for 58 yards for the Hobbs Eagle cause. Hill with 4 catches for 41 yards. McCool had a catch for 11. Sanders, the sophomore, 2 for 18 in the ball game. And looks like we have one more in here. I think it was 1 for 13. The big kid, the kicker, got in a chance for a catch. Brandon Almanza. And he's got some size, too, 6'1", 200 pounds, and got up big for 1 for 13. So in terms of receivers in this game, 6 making receptions for Hobbs. They were 14 of 20 in the passing department for 217. 344 running game, 217 passing for 561. Short of the Roswell Coyotes, but still some impressive numbers to start the season. And they did have more first downs, though, 21 total for the Hobbs Eagles in this one, and kept the penalties to a big-time minimum, only 5 total for 45 yards in the game. Hobbs did have 2 turnovers, the 1 critical one, the fumble on the kick return to end the ball game, an interception earlier, and only had 1 punt in the game as well. So when you look at the stats, I mean, they just come off the paper at you. Very good production for Hobbs offensively in this one. Of course, Roswell racked up some numbers too, and they got 4 more points on the scoreboard. But this is a big battle. I mean, a 6A semifinalist from last year, playing the likes of Cleveland, etc., and a Roswell team that's won 1 out of 3 championships in the 5A. So you expected a big barn burn. Maybe not this many points. You wouldn't expect that many points on the scoreboard, but still, exciting game to watch from start to finish, albeit very humid and hot here in Roswell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been hot, but it's been a great game, and really proud of our boys and all the hard work that they put in. A really impressive show.
So. Run down those Lee County scores for us, Madi, to finish it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Tatum and Escalante. There we go. Tatum won 50-0, and Jal Tucumcari took the win with 47-13. Our Eunice game, Eunice took the win with 47-26 against Ruidoso, and then Lovington took the win with 20-14 over Goddard.
So some big games for Lee County teams tonight. Of course, next week, the Artesia Bulldogs in town at Watson Stadium. They lost tonight. If hopefully that was a final, though. Carlsbad 20-13 in that one. It says final score, so I'm crossing my fingers. Nobody's playing games on Max Preps tonight. But, again, that's a big Eddy County battle anyway, and they like to start the season with that one. But still, big win for Carlsbad, who was a playoff team last year. Eagles beat them twice, regular season and for the playoffs. Artesia graduated 35 seniors. 21 starters departed after getting their diplomas, but they've recovered with 35 seniors on the roster this year. So that's the regrouping for our coach, Jeremy Maupin, former player for them. And, of course, they were the state champs last year, winning 25-24 over Roswell and a comeback win in that one. So Artesia always a tough team to go up against. They do have to make some changes at different positions. They got some receivers that they've had to move up on the roster. Lucas Atkins, their new quarterback, too, and got a loss tonight. So maybe that's a good sign for the Eagles. But so that's where we're at next week. We'll have the 6:45 pregame show at Watson, kickoff at 7. And, Monty, your first game with the Hobbs Eagles up here in the booth. Thank you again for your great video production and stepping in here. I know it's kind of tough. Kind of figuring out how all this stuff works. As you got the morning show at KZOR. It's a little bit of a different taste up here, but I appreciate all your help.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to doing more games with you.
Final score, 64-60. Your Hobbs Eagles losing a close one to Roswell. And if you might want to run down our sponsors to wrap it up here after a great finish for both teams, an exciting game. Sponsors keep these productions going live and free for everybody out in listening land.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you to Lee County State Bank, Bel Air Bowl, Divine Energy Services, B&B Rental Services, Aftermath Hot Oil, First American Bank at Hobbs, Hobbs Express, Eunice Pump and Supply, NMR Pipeline, SunGuard Precision, DNC Electric, Devon Energy, Badger, Eastern New Mexico University, Lasco Construction, Forest Tire, and TDS.
Again, final score 64-60. Roswell Coyotes winning at the Wool Bowl. We'll see you next week at 6:45 at Watson Stadium against the Artesia Bulldogs. Have a great weekend out there and keep cool.
Are your questions?